Oh, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our awesome stream. Whoa, nice effect there. Nice.
Way
Yep.
to kick it off.
Yeah, let's start this bloody carnival that is Terrifier. So, yeah, um, if you went to the movies this weekend, you probably saw there was this new clown movie that beat the clown movie that came out last week quite a bit. Is Terrifier 3. So, of course, I wanted to talk about this awesome franchise with Art the Clown, and who better to talk about it with than Anthony? So, these guys will Art the Clown there. So, Anthony, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Talk a little Art the Clown. I actually revisited the older movies as well just for this stream. I checked out All Hallows Eve. Nice shirt. I got mine on as well.
Yeah, this is the
Rocking
Clown
it.
Cafe. Terrifier 2. Oh, with the little pale girl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I watched All Hallows Eve. I watched Terrifier 2, and then I saw Terrifier 3 in the theater about a week ago or something like that. So yeah, I've got Art the Clown all on my brain. He's wormed his way in there.
Yeah. Movies. Hey, everyone. Just here to
Hey,
make sure
Corey.
Art the Clown has sneaked into the chat. Yep, let's dive into mayhem. Yep. Unfortunately, Art is not here, so we're not going to get sawed in half or mutilated in a bedroom or something like that. So.
Now, he might show up. You never know.
He might. Never know. He's sneaky. So before we start, Anthony, what's your history, I guess, with the Terrifier franchise? Like, how'd you find out about it? Like, were any of these first watches for you going into?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I haven't been on Terrifier nearly as long as some other people have. Like my girlfriend she's seen all three of the Terrifier films on the big screen. The first one that I saw in the theater was actually Terrifier 3.
Wow.
I didn't get into the Terrifier films until later. I really didn't even know they were a thing. I think I had heard about the first Terrifier, kind of this indie grindhouse type, movie. But I was like, I never saw it on anywhere or anything. So it just flew by me. But then more and more people were talking about it and this and that. So
like number 2?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think because of the hype of number 2, that's what got me to go back and watch the first one. So I was like, okay, let me go back and watch the first one. And then I watched the second one when it came out on Blu-ray, because I bought the Blu-ray for it. And then actually just recently, I went and watched, and by recently, I mean literally last night, I watched All Hallows Eve. Because you asked me, you're like, do you want to talk about All Hallows Eve? And I'm like, hell yeah, man, let's talk about all of them. But you didn't know it, but I had never seen it, so I literally watched it last night.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. I want to have knowledge on all of the Art the Clown stuff. So I watched that last night. And then I figured while I was at it, I would rewatch Terrifier. And then today, last night and today, I finished off Terrifier 2 for the third time. So I've actually seen Terrifier 2 3 times. I've seen the first Terrifier twice, and then All Hallows Eve was a first-time watch. And and then I finally got to go see a Terrifier film in the theater with Terrifier 3, which was a great experience. It was a great experience as in like, I got to watch Art kill a bunch of people, in a Santa outfit and on the big screen. It was fun. My crowd, however, I went during like a 1 p.m. showing, and there were only like 2 other people in there. So it was pretty quiet, which was nice. But how sometimes you go in and you kind of want the crowd to elevate it in a way.
So when I went to go see Terrifier 3 for the second time, I'll tell that story later. But my dad and I were going to go to a 4 p.m. showing, and then dinner afterwards. But then I just happened to, I don't know, I was just looking at showtimes at the theater, and I'm like, oh, there's an 8 o'clock one. I clicked in there, whole theater sold out, besides like a couple seats. And I called him, and he was already on his way to the theater. I'm like, can we postpone to 8 so we can go to the more packed theater instead of the one that was like 3 people? I'm like, I just want to be here with the crowd as they like, react to all this stuff because I already know what was going to happen. And so I was like, I just want to see people react to this stuff again. And so he's like, sure. And so we changed our plans. But anyways.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely one of those movies that I think, watching it with a crowd of people elevates it. It makes it more fun. It makes it more of like an event. So yeah, no, that's pretty much all of my history with the Terrifier films. So they're all fairly new to me. I mean, honestly, because I don't know, I just didn't even know about All Hallows Eve or the first Terrifier when they first came out. I think I'd heard rumblings, but I really didn't pay much attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but now I feel like Art the Clown is fairly like mainstream now. I mean, he's got
so when I went to go get this shirt, I just went to Spirit Halloween the other day just to check it out, and that's where I got this shirt. But they had a mannequin of Art the Clown like honking a horn and stuff there. I'm like, this is so cool. That like this super indie thing, because I think somewhere I heard that the first Terrifier only had a budget like $35,000.
Oh yeah, it's
dirt. And it's like micro budget. It's like that is so cool. That this thing that had like less than a person's salary a year budget, and now you got Art the Clown Halloween decorations that cost like $1,000.
Oh yeah, and he's got his own like animatronic as well. You can buy the sunglasses.
Here's my dad, and he said okay. Yes, you did say okay when I asked. Yeah.
What about you? What's your history with Art the Clown? Did you get into All Hallows Eve and the first Terrifier when they first came out?
So I don't remember how soon after the first Terrifier came out, but I discovered it maybe about a year or two after it came out. And so then I went back and watched All Hallows Eve and All Hallows Eve 2 just because why not? I don't know how I even discovered it. I might have just been going through Amazon Prime and saw it one day. I'm like, what's this clown thing? and so by that point, I'm big on like movies with killer clowns and stuff, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The new one is one of my favorites of all time. The 2017. And so I'm just big on clowns killing people, I guess, right? And so I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then here I actually have our thumbnail, so I'm gonna pop this up real quick. This picture with me and David Howard Thornton in Art the Clown makeup. Yeah. That's from I went to a horror convention. Oh God, 2021, I think. And him and Damien Leone were there, and they had like a photo op where he was dressed up as Art the Clown. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that. And so I got that picture with him in Art the Clown. Like, it's pretty cool. Awesome. And so yeah, and they had a panel there, and it's the only panel I went to at the whole convention, like all this other stuff. Oh, they had one with Tony Todd, one with Tom Savini and stuff. I'm like, I have to go to the Terrifier one. I went to the Terrifier one. They talked about the first film, and they're like talking about the second one, because this is when there was just rumors that the second one was coming, and they're like, no, it's actually happening. And they showed us a clip of it. Like, we're the first people to ever see a clip of it, and it was the scene where they're in the that Halloween store, and she's buying like the angel wings. Yeah. Right. And so it starts from like when she's looking at him to when she is at the desk and he starts like honking the horn in her ear. Like they showed us all of that. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. And then they were like, yeah, we're hoping it'll come out next year. And so I was just waiting for it to like get a release. And it's like, it's going to get a release. There's one theater anywhere near me with one showing. And so I've told this story a lot. It's one of my favorite like movie stories, I texted my dad. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see this movie Terrifier 2 with me? Don't research the first one at all. Just come watch this movie with me." He's like, "Sure." He's like, "Oh, is that clown you met at that convention?" I'm like, "Yes. That's all you need to know is this black and white clown thing." And he kills people. He's like, "Okay." And so we're watching it, and it gets to that opening scene with the coroner, and he like turns to me, he's like, "What the hell?" And I'm just like laughing. I was like, "That's just so cool." And then he's like, and then at the end, he was like, "That was awesome." And now we're like both fans of it, right?
That's amazing.
And so then when it did its re-release last year, we did the same thing to my cousin. We just brought him along with us to watch the re-release of 2, and it had the intro from Damien Leone where he's like, "Yeah, we were so thrilled when we heard the reports of people throwing up and fainting." And my cousin's like, "What is this movie? Like, how bad is this that people are like getting physically sick while watching this?" And so that was just, I don't know, it's just so fun to do that to people, especially with movies extreme as Terrifier is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I give you a lot of credit for taking your dad to go see that, because that could have went either way. Because it's, because there's a lot of horror films you can take your family to go see, and they would probably get a kick out of them. But Terrifier is just, there's so much like carnage and
It's like it's so over the top and like,
yeah. Like, you either have to have a good kind of sense of humor about it, because it's so over the top that it's almost comical in a way. But
yeah,
some
Art's
people,
like a very darkly comedic character in a way.
Yeah,
too.
but some
especially
people,
in the last 2 films, he's become more that way.
if you're not used to that kind of a thing, then that could really freak you out. Like, if you're not used to horror movies at all, that could probably traumatize you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it is fun. It is, especially if the person can like handle it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna like pass out in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. And then as far as Terrifier 3 goes, I was actually at Fantastic Fest probably about a month ago now, and it was the last film of the opening night of the festival, so I got to see it at its world premiere. Literally 2 rows behind David Howard Thornton and Lauren Lavera, the 2 stars of the movie.
Wow.
You got to watch him do like the whole Q&A and stuff afterwards. People cheering at the demented parts and stuff, and being such a lively crowd. And then I got to go up front after the Q&A, got to meet them all and tell them, "Hey, love your guys' movies. Please keep making these as great as they are until you don't need to anymore," essentially. And they're like, "Thank you." So, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of this franchise. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites. And by the time they're done with 4 and maybe 5, if that's going to be all they do, this has the potential for me to might dethrone Friday the 13th as my favorite horror series, honestly.
Wow.
I love it that much. So I'm a huge fan.
That's great. Is that what they said? Did they say 5 films?
No, so they did the Q&A, and it's like one of the festival people asking questions, and they open it up to the crowd. First crowd question: is there going to be a 4th one? Damien Leone: there will be a Terrifier 4. And then in later interviews, he was saying like he doesn't really want to go past 5, I think.
Wow. Okay.
So
interesting.
Because I think that's smart too. Like, if you only have this much story, why are we stretching out this? Don't let it run on too long, because you have so many examples of franchises that just go on too long or doesn't really merit it, and then they just get dumb after a while.
I agree. I would like to see him tackle something else, like a new horror icon, come up with something that's different from Art the Clown that could, possibly turn into a franchise. Or
I would love to see what Damien Leone could do besides Terrifier.
Yeah, because and I'll tell you right now too, he probably will be done in a couple more movies, because I'm sure that these studios are probably like kicking down his door wanting him to like come make films for them. Like Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal. I guarantee you they're like, please come direct horror movies, because it's just the name recognition alone that is going to get people. It's going to get like butts in the seats.
It's
So-
like, and it's entirely like word of mouth right now for the two. So I don't know if the first one actually got theatrical, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know if the first one did either. If it
might have
well,
been
I guess it
streaming
did because I know my
re-release.
girlfriend said she went to go see it, but that may have been a re-release of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the original run actually had one, but yeah, dude, I hope
entirely word of mouth and stuff, and it's crazy when Terrifier 3 opens #1 at the domestic box office. That's insane and awesome, and it dethroned Joker 2, which is a sequel to a $1 billion film. That's just insane.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's awesome for Terrifier fans, for horror fans, for indie films. That's just amazing.
One clown kicked the shit out of the other clown in the box office, and
arguably, Joker's like the most well-known clown character in cinema.
Of all time.
Like,
of all time, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like Pennywise, Joker, and like Art the Clown, and maybe the McDonald's clown.
Oh yeah, Ronald McDonald. And the Killer Clowns. Can't forget about the Killer Clowns.
Oh yeah, Killer Clowns from Outers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got like 1 million figures right over here of the Killer Clowns. Yeah.
It's a great one. Yeah. So, all right, let's read some comments and then we'll get to discussing each of these movies in depth. Also, before we go on, if you haven't seen any of these, spoilers. We're gonna go like in depth. So
yeah.
So just because it'll be more fun to talk about it that way. Allie, I didn't love the first movie. The first time I saw it, but I loved 2 so much that when I went and revisited the first one, I appreciated it and enjoyed it a lot more. Yeah, that's one of the things about these movies is, I think they retroactively make the previous one better, or I like it more, because one of my biggest issues with 2, right, was, well, there's so many unanswered questions. Like, I don't really know what all this is. You watch 3 and it answers a bunch of those questions. I'm like, okay, well, now I don't have that problem with 2 anymore because I know. And so it retroactively made 2 better. And I think it retroactively makes, I think 3 and 2 make 1 retroactively better as well.
I can see that. So, and hi, Ellie. How's it going, babe? That's my girlfriend right there.
Oh, balloons!
I don't even ask me how I did that one.
Oh, now I'm a full-fledged fan of Art. Yep, gotta love our boy Art the Clown. Anthony got to see the craziest Terrifier movie on the big screen. Yeah, 3 goes there.
It does. Yeah, it definitely
All right,
does.
just curious. What's scarier, Art the Clown or finding out you're out of snacks halfway through the movie? Personally terrified of both. I don't know.
You know what's funny? I'm not even like a big snack eater at the movies a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I'll get popcorn or something, but a lot of times I just have like a pop or a like a slushy kind of a thing. But that's really about it.
I'm more of getting drinks than snacks at popcorn. I will say when I saw us at the world premiere though, I got popcorn and I'm sitting there just eating popcorn like nothing's happening as I'm seeing these people get mutilated on screen, and it's just like, it doesn't faze me. I don't know what that says about me, but I could just eat food as I see some dude's head being de-skinned or whatever.
You know what I love to think about too in those moments, I swear, whenever like there's something brutal happening on screen, I like to think that, you know how they have those night cams for the audience that have behind the screen in the theater to capture reactions. I always like to think it's like they just see me laughing hysterically at something completely inappropriate, and I'm just like eating popcorn or having a great time, and they're like, these people are sick.
Yeah, I had to have been annoying the people next to me because I'd be like, I was like sitting like this the whole time, like you know, like this off my theater seat, and I'm like. So the whole time, the first time I saw it, I was so reactive and so into it, and like the whole crowd was just like going crazy for the movie. Like, I don't know if the people next to me thought that it was that great. I'm sitting there just like Yes, please kill them. It was awesome. My dad knows I watch messed up stuff, but I feel like he would be really concerned about me if I showed him the Terrifier movies. He was concerned about me when I took him to see The Substance. Hey, I took my dad to see The Substance too. So,
There you
did
go.
you take your dad to see The Substance?
I took my mom to go see The Substance.
Oh, good. That's a great bonding experience with parents. The Substance.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Terrifier movies just keep better and better, and I'm totally with you on it being a great franchise. Yeah, they're great.
Oh no! Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. No. I went to go see The Substance alone. Sorry. I do take my mom to go see a lot of horror films because she does like horror. She usually goes for like the slasher movies. Like
we went Terrifier 3.
No, not that. That one. I think that's over the top. I told her you're not gonna want to go see this. That one, and no, The Substance, because I knew that The Substance. I had heard about all the like body horror and all that stuff, and I didn't think my mom would want to go see that, so I was like, I should probably go. I should probably just see this one by myself because all that body horror. But we did go see Winnie the Pooh 2, Blood and Honey together, so that was a fun experience, and she really enjoyed it.
My dad and I saw both of the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies in theater. We both hated the first one. We both were laughing pretty much the whole time of the second one because that one's stupid fun. Damien said he knows where he wants the story to end. He's just not sure if it'll end with 4 and 5. Yeah, I saw that too. He just doesn't. I think if I remember correctly, he didn't know how long the movie was going to end up being for this story, but he didn't want to do like another 2.5 hour long Terrifier movie. So if that's what the runtime was going to be, he was going to split it up into 2. If I remember correctly, I think that's what he said, but I could be wrong, which makes sense. Glad that he knows where he wants to end it and doesn't want to, do something like Joker where they just make an unnecessary sequel, right? The budget jump from 2 to 3 is wild. Yeah, $250,000 to $2 million. Imagine what the budget will be for Terrifier 4. Yeah,
but you know what's funny to me? I think that Terrifier 2 looks more expensive than Terrifier 3 because you have like all of these really trippy, almost like heavy metal kind of sequences in a way, like
and the whole clown cafe thing that had to be a set.
Yeah, the clown cafe.
You can't just find that. You could find a fun house.
Yeah, the third act where she's like in the dunk tank and you got all these trippy colors, it's like going over the blade and she's wearing that badass outfit. Now it really reminds me, it's got like this kind of like heavy metal feel to it, like really rock and roll. I love that about the second one. But to me it looks like a higher budget, or at least the same budget as Terrifier 3. Like I didn't notice a huge jump in quality from Terrifier 2 to 3 in terms of the budget. I don't know. I mean, that's just me, but I mean, because to me, yeah, there are just so many more sets and places where they went in the second one. Like she was in the club in the second movie, the house, the school, different houses where people were getting killed, like where the girl got ripped apart, and then the salt and the bleach and the wounds.
Yeah,
that was another house. Like there's just so many different locations. But Terrifier 3, I don't know, you got the mall, you got the house,
maybe they spent it all on Christmas decorations,
the dorm room. Yeah the Christmas decoration, right? Exactly. Yeah, I don't know,
who knows.
But all right. I mean, yeah, they
all right. So all right, well, let's kick it off and we'll talk about the first movie Art the Clown is in. That is All Hallows Eve. So I'll let you start first, Anthony, because you fresh watch, first time you ever seen it.
Yeah, so first time I ever saw this movie, like I said, was last night. I watched it super late, so it was fun. I had a good time. And I like the wraparound story quite a bit with the babysitter and the 2 kids. especially how that ends for the kids. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa.
And
So cool.
everyone bitching about Terrifier 3 doing that is like, hey, Art's already done this. Watch
Art's
All
already
Hallows Eve. This isn't new for
exactly.
the dude.
And that's true too, because I saw Terrifier 3 first before All Hallows Eve. So when I
Mm-hmm.
saw that scene, I was like, oh, you know, he's already killed kids.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Oh,
Um
real quick. After we all walked out of the at the Fantastic Fest, when we walked out of the premiere of 3, everyone was like, Terrifier 3 subtitle or like whatever tagline should be "fuck them kids."
right.
uh, that was like the joke all week about Terrifier 3. Is like that's awesome. Anyways.
Oh, good. And then, but then you have like those kind of stories in there. The girls at like the train station, then Art kidnaps her, and then they're like down below, like underneath the train station, or somewhere in like the sewers or whatever. And I don't know, it was okay, but it was kind of boring. And then the second story was really boring with the alien, and then
Mhm.
the lady who was not a
Yeah.
very good actress at all, man. Those two stories were pretty boring. I was like, oh God, I hope this quality picks up. But Allie assured me that the third story is the best one. So I finally made it to the third story. And I was like, whoa, this is insane. I was like, I wish the whole movie was just this third story, where you got the girl at the gas station, and then Art kills the guy, and then
Mhm.
he's like following her as she's driving, and she just can't seem to get away. And eventually Art gets a hold of her, cuts her legs off, cuts her arms off, and then writes all those like terrible words like all over her
Mhm.
body, carves it into her. And she's still alive. That was messed up, man. I was like, oh my God, this is so that was, I wish the whole movie was just that third story, or even the wraparound story, because I was having fun with that too. I mean, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. But yeah, I enjoyed All Hallows Eve. I didn't rate it too high though, just because those other two stories are super boring, and it's not a movie I would go back and rewatch too often unless I just skipped to that third story, and then
Mhm.
that was it. What about you? What do you think of All Hallows Eve?
Yeah, pretty much the exact same sentiments, I guess. I'm not huge on like horror anthologies for this exact reason, right? To where it seems like there's always, I guess, like the VHS franchise, for example, right? There's like 5 of them there. I really like 1 or 2 of them, and then I don't care for the rest of them, right? And that's just how most horror anthologies seem to be for me. I really like the third short story in this, which is essentially just the short film of what
Sure.
the first Terrifier became. Um, is probably why I like it so much.
Me too.
I don't care for that alien one at all. Um,
Terrible.
that first one is kind of interesting. I think Art the Clown's the best part of it.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's just like, okay, whatever.
It
But I
is
do
cool when
like,
his eyes are glowing and he's doing that wave to her or whatever in the
mm-hmm,
station, like right after he like drugs her or whatever. That was a cool moment. I like that little quick scene there.
mm-hmm. And then I do like that wraparound story. It's pretty creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but this isn't one I go and revisit all that much, just because, like I said, I'm not big into anthology, and I just, I really, the only time I would ever honestly watch this is if I'm binging all the Art the Clown Terrifier movies. And even then, the past 2 times I've watched this franchise, I haven't watched this one. So it's just like, do I think it's a terrible movie? No, but it's just like one that I just don't really have the need to pop in all that much.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite of you. I love horror anthology movies.
Hmm.
So for me, I was looking forward to it, but then once I saw, like, I was like, oh man, these are pretty rough. These are pretty rough. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
There is a sequel to this, totally unrelated, called All Hallows Eve 2, that's got like a pumpkin mask guy killer. I've seen that one. I don't like that one as much as this one. I like that one less than this one. Um, I couldn't tell you anything about it though. I just remember I don't like it as much.
Wow. Okay.
I remember the wraparound story to it. That's about it. So I've only seen that one once. I've seen this one 2, maybe 3 times, I think. But yeah, it's just not really one I see myself revisiting all that much, unless I'm like depraved of Art the Clown or whatever.
Yeah,
I like need my fix of him, and I don't have time to watch a 2.5 hour long movie, I guess.
And that's what I was gonna say too, right? At least it's a very quick watch. That's one thing you could say about it. Like, well, at least you can get through it pretty quickly. So
yeah,
it's only like an hour and 23 minutes or something like that. So
that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll bring us to the original Terrifier.
Now, what's interesting about this is
you can go ahead,
the lady who is the babysitter in All Hallows Eve is the reporter chick in Terrifier, Katie McGuire.
The one doing the one that's like doing that interview at the beginning.
So I thought that was kind of a cool.
The one that's like interviewing Victoria.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She comes back from All Hallows Eve as she's a different character. Like I said, she's like the babysitter in that movie, and in this movie she's doing the interview. Yeah, because in All Hallows Eve her name is Sarah, so she is a different character. But I just thought it was interesting because I recognized her because, like I said, I went right from All Hallows Eve into rewatching Terrifier, and I was like, hey, that's the babysitter from All Hallows Eve. That's the reporter in this. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, Terrifier. This was even better on the second viewing. And maybe it's like what you said about having like seen the second and the third one, whatever, and then it kind of retroactively adds to the first one in a way. But I do think that the first film has this like really mean-spirited, like sadistic, sinister tone about it that I really love because it's depraved. I mean, the first Terrifier, he's a scary. Art the Clown is really scary in Terrifier. Like he's not.
There's not a whole lot of There's not a whole lot of like the darkly comedic stuff that he does. Like that twisted sense of humor that he gets more so in 2 and 3. Like there's some moments where he's like jamming out in the car and stuff, or like when he's like standing there.
He honks the horn at her, or he's like riding around on like the little tricycle, riding around. But yeah, it's played off as him being more serious for sure in this movie. And there are moments where I feel like the tension is captured a lot better in the first Terrifier movie. Like I'm legitimately like, whoa, man, this like Art is someone you do not want to mess with in that movie, like because he's not playing with you at all. I mean, he's gonna kill you, and he's just the things that he's doing when he kills that lady, that like homeless lady that has like the fake baby doll or whatever, and like he's just sucking on his thumb, and you're like, oh, maybe he's gonna let her go, and then the next scene, all of a sudden he's wearing her hair. And he's like naked except for his shoes and his makeup and the hair that.
And he's like wearing parts of her body, like parts of her too.
Yeah, he scalped her head, like he like scalped her hair off, and he put that on, and then he cut off her breasts and like that top sex, and then he's wearing that. And then he's just coming after the final girl, and it's just super disturbing. I mean, it really is. It and just the fact that how low budget the film is only adds to it because it makes it feel more realistic, almost like this is like a snuff film or something.
What also helps is that it's very like grindhousey,
Yes,
with the just like with the way it's shot, the tone, the vibe, the like the grain on the camera and stuff. Like even when I watch it on the Blu-ray, it's still very grainy, and I think that's very intentional.
I love the grainy look. I miss the grainy look, honestly, because I think it adds so much to it. Because it just gives it that shot on video look, which is just more disturbing. But also the scene where, you know, he cuts that lady down the middle.
The hacksaw scene.
With the hacksaw. But not only is that a great scene, but I love the lead up to it, because he kidnaps the other chick, you know, ties her up, forces her to watch, and then he's got this huge like tarp or blanket or sheet or whatever over, so you can't see what's behind the sheet. And then it's just like, you know, this reveal. It's this huge moment in the film, and then he just tears that sheet down, and there she is, like almost completely naked except for her underwear. And then the camera zooms in on his face, and then he just rips her underwear off, and then he starts hacking her down the middle, you know. And I'm like,
and it doesn't cut away. It shows you that hacksaw going through her.
Yes,
it's like, oh
and
my god,
so like, you know, realistic and just it's just so depraved, man, because the look on Art's face and everything, and the blood spraying everywhere, and then the friend has to watch her best friend just get cut down the middle. Brutal. But that's what I mean. That's what I'll be honest, man, I'm loving the first Terrifier the more and more I watch it, because it still has the Halloween vibes, and it's just it's also nice too, because it's only an hour and 25 minutes, so it goes by pretty quickly. But I don't think they waste any time or whatever. Like, they utilize the time that they have very well, and it feels like a well fleshed out movie. And I also, another thing I gotta say is that I love how the final girl isn't really the final girl, because he
has like the twist in the middle there.
Yeah, he ends up just blowing her away, just shoots her in the face like a bunch of times.
Empties his clip into her face.
Yeah, because the whole time you're thinking like, oh, okay, well, you know, he's going to go reload the gun and then she's going to get away. But no, he goes, reloads the gun, comes back and shoots her in the face. Like you said, just unloads the clip in her face. And I'm like, whoa, so she's dead. And then you're like, okay, I guess the new final girl is the sister. And that's another thing I love about the movie. This is where the mean-spirited part comes in, right? Because it's like, okay, the sister's going to come in, save the day, kick the shit out of Art. Nope. Art eats her face. He runs her down, then eats her face, keeping her alive. So she's just like, she's gone. She's completely lost her mind. She's like a psycho now. But yeah,
it has to go to that ward.
The psych ward, you know, and then because the whole time you're like, oh, she's gonna get the final blow and kill Art, but it's like, no, those two cops come in, they just blow Art away, they shoot him a bunch of times, and then he gets like the movie ends with him getting like reanimated. He's brought back to life, and he goes to kill the coroner and everything, and then that's right where Terrifier 2 begins, which I love that. But I love how the first Terrifier ends, because it's a downer note. It's like, at the end of the day, Art won. I mean, he ruined that lady's life. I mean, it's almost even worse that he didn't kill her, because she has to live with the fact that she lost her sister. Her face is all mangled and whatever. She's got to go through life like that, and she's just crazy now. So I love that downbeat ending. You know, because now with 2 and 3, you're going to get the constant upbeat ending, you know, where it ends on like a high note, basically, for the most part, you know.
Well, not really 3, I guess. 3's kind of a stalemate, I think. You know what?
It's kind of, I guess it's kind of a stalemate, but we'll see where that goes, right? Because we'll get to 3 when we're talking, because I've got some interesting things about 3, but yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. But what do you think about Terrifier? Sorry I talked, but I had a lot to say about it.
No, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I really dig this film, right? I think like gave us Art the Clown, essentially. I know All Hallows Eve technically did, but I think this movie puts him front and center more so. Like, hey, look at this character, watch him mutilate people. And that's kind of what I sign up for. I go to a Terrifier movie, so this film kind of delivers that for me. I love that this is when we first get to see David Howard Thornton in the role. Not that the guy from All Hallows Eve did a bad job. I just much prefer David Howard Thornton and what he brings to this character, and just like the different vibe he gives and stuff. I'm more so attuned to a little bit more of the silly side of Art the Clown, where he does like the more funny stuff in 2 and 3. And so this one doesn't appeal to me as much, just because it's like so like dark, I guess, if that makes sense. Like this is gonna sound weird. I want my Terrifier movies to be more fun.
Okay, yeah, totally.
And so this isn't one even though I really dig it, when I'm in the mood for a Terrifier film, I'm probably gonna do 2 or 3 before I pop this one in, just because I think those ones are more, fun than this one. Because like you said, this one's more downer. It's just Art the Clown murdering people the whole time. There's no victory or whatever, and so that's honestly the only thing I can hold against the film. I love, obviously, well, this goes without saying for all the films, the gore in these movies and practical effects is top tier.
Yeah.
And I like you were saying about like the style, I really dig the style of this movie. You're like in this dirty warehouse the whole time. Pretty much everything you said, you pretty much covered it all. It's just,
I know, man. I was really excited to talk about the first Terrifier. I was. Yeah. You could bring up how he shit all over the walls in the pizza place.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene, actually.
I love that scene.
I do love the scene though where they're like in there taking selfies with him, and then he takes a selfie with the split in half corpse. That's pretty funny. That's the type of art stuff I like to see. That's the stuff I like from art.
I love that. But it's cool though. I like how we're at we both appreciate all of the movies and everything, but I kind of like the more serious, dark tone, and you kind of like more of the playful, like fun art. Still disturbing or whatever, but you like them a little bit more playful.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's like darkly comedic, right?
Right, darkly comedic for sure.
Where it's not, in reality, it's not actually funny, but somehow he makes it funny, right?
Exactly. So, only us horror fans can understand the difference, really.
And us weird, sick people.
Exactly.
For thinking that.
Exactly. Yeah, but there is a big tonal difference, and that's why I appreciate that first Terrifier so much, and not that I don't, really enjoy the. It's all the emojis are popping up today or whatever.
Jeez.
But not that I don't appreciate 2 and 3. Because I think those are a blast, but there's just something special about that first Terrifier that I really love now, especially after rewatching it for the second time. I'm like, man, this movie is really hitting like on another level this time around, So yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. More comments from Allie.
Oh, okay.
I like the wraparound story in All Hallows Eve too. I'm just not a fan of the actress that played the babysitter and also the interviewer in Terrifier. Her acting is wooden to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you didn't like her. Yeah, I agree. She is. I think she's better in Terrifier when she's doing the interview, but I get it. Yeah, she's not great, and she's kind of a bitch in the second movie. So you're rooting for what happens to her in a way. You don't really feel bad for her because. She's just not very likable. Even in the first movie, she's kind of a bitch too, because she's not very like nice to them. I mean, it's like those kids are clearly like scared or whatever, and she's just like, "Were you guys playing around downstairs?" It's like,
go back to your room.
Do they look like they were playing around downstairs? I mean, she's kind of dumb, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The artwork for All Hallows Eve is so misleading since we mainly only get Art in the third act. Thankfully, they gave him his own movie afterwards. I could see that. Yeah. When Art is walking around wearing that woman's torso, it's nightmare fuel. Yeah, he's genuinely like terrifying in the first one. Hey, terrifying.
Absolutely. No, it is. It's the perfect word for it. It is terrifying. Because they don't play it off as like comedic either, really. Like it's genuinely just disturbing and grotesque. When he like, especially it's like the reveal, because he's kind of like in the fetal position, pretending like, oh, you know, to be like this crying woman, like got hurt.
Yeah, because doesn't she like approach him from the back and like touch him, and then he like turns around and it's Art, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, so messed up.
Art is a showman. He unveiled the spectacle hacksaw. Yes. Art's reanimation scene is so freaking cool. Love the way the lights start going crazy. Yeah, that's a it's a good cliffhanger.
Yes,
that
was awesome.
They actually
like
said
when he's at the coroners.
They said that wasn't the original ending for the film. In an interview I saw from Damien Leone, he was supposed to just shoot himself and then end. That's it. But then Damien was like, "Well, I think I want to make a second one," and so then he went back and they shot that coronation scene where he gets revived.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm glad they did, because without 2 or 3, I'd be very sad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it was the perfect way to end it, to set up for 2. You know, it really was.
It is so satisfying when Art took a selfie with that girl's hacksaw body, much like another full circle moment we got in Terrifier 3. Yep. If you're talking about the shower scene, the girl,
absolutely
awesome. So that will bring us to Terrifier 2.
Ooh.
And this was one of my most anticipated movies that year it came out. And for me, this took everything that I loved about the first Terrifier and just did it better. You know, you introduce Sienna, who's like one of the most badass final girls ever. You have Art the Clown, who's doing his art thing, murdering people in violent ways, but like I was saying earlier, this is the movie that made him more comedic, right? Where he has like the little moments where he like decapitates the dude in the store, he's acting like the animatronic with the head, you know, like stuff. I love that. When he's like handing out candy in the mom's head and the kid tries taking 2 pieces, like slaps his hand, he's like 1 or whatever.
I love that.
It's stuff like that is just the stuff I love, right? Like that's the stuff that I get a huge kick out of these movies, and when Art does like silly stuff like that. But it's just where it's like so messed up, you know, because he's holding like decapitated heads in these scenes, you know, so it's like, geez, like, but it's funny, you know, like that's the magic, I think, of Art the Clown, is that he can do the most depraved thing and then do something hilarious right afterwards.
Completely agree.
The only thing that I really didn't like about this film when I saw it is that I just felt like there was so much stuff unanswered with this movie about like what was going on, how did Art get revived, like what's his motivation, how does Sienna fit into all this, you know. It just brought up all these questions. But now, having seen Terrifier 3, I know the answers to a lot of these, and so I don't really have those questions anymore, you know. I think the whole third act is incredible, where it's Sienna versus Art, and they have their epic battle showdown, where Sienna's got the Valkyrie sword, and he's got his murderous cat o' nine tails with like the scalpels and scissors at the end of it. She's trying to save her brother and stuff from him too. And there's just like so many memorable sequences in this movie, like the whole clown cafe thing.
Oh man, the Tommy gun.
The Tommy gun, that's awesome.
So good.
One of my dad and I's favorite kills, or maybe not favorite kills, but favorite scenes, when he's got the mom sitting there with the hole in her face, and he walks in and just shoves mashed potatoes into the hole. that used to be her face. That's awesome. Like, like more funny art stuff like that, where it's like, geez, that's so fucked up. But it's like, that's awesome though.
Yes.
So,
Dude, I was so happy when Sienna's mom got the like shotgun to the face.
that was like such a good like jump scare, too.
But the mom was such a bitch, man. God,
Mhm.
she was annoying.
Yeah.
I was like, every scene, I'm like, the mom is just, I mean, kudos to that actress because she definitely made me like hate her. I was like, God, shut up. Because she's just constantly yelling at her kids. I'm like, God, Lord, and it just gets her character got annoying. I was so happy when Art killed her. I was like, oh, thank God.
He did it like such a funny way, just like wipe, boom. You just see this like head fly against the wall. Oh, that was awesome.
It
Or
always
you got like the two people, the boyfriend and girlfriend that's like Sienna's friend or whatever. And she's just into the car, looks over, just says just the tip, and then you like see the side view of a dude peeing, and then just a knife going straight into his.
And then Art is just going to town on that guy's, dick. I mean, he's just like,
and the whole time he's like doing his silent like laughing thing too. It's like,
I mean, he's just like, because the camera, like, it's like him taking a piss, and then he just gets like stab, and then it cuts away to the girl for a little bit, and then it goes back to Art, and he's just like repeatedly stabbing him in the groin, just like just over and over, like, and like you said, he's like doing his little laugh, like, like cracking up about it, like Jesus, man.
And then he shoves it through the window. He like wipes it on the window, and then just like, oh, it's all.
That's
awesome.
the other thing that's cool about these movies, because, you look at Art as, a slasher icon, but he'll just randomly bust a cap in a motherfucker. He'll pull out
all the movies, like he shoots the chick in the first one, the Tommy gun, the people in the bar.
And the third movie as well, he'll just break out that gun. Like whenever he feels like, I don't know, sometimes like in the third movie we'll get to it, but like, where there's like three of them at the bar, so he just like breaks out the gun, he's like pop pop. It's like Jesus.
Out of his trash bag of fun.
It's weird to see Art. It's just so weird to see a slasher where they use a gun, because most of the time it's like an axe or a knife or a machete or something like that,
or whatever that weapon is right there. His weapon that he forges, that thing is awesome. I love that.
It's badass.
I was like slightly bummed it did not come back for Terrifier 3, and that could be like Art's signature weapon, is a chair leg with knives sticking out of it. But I don't care that much, but I would hopefully that could Terrifier 4, biggest hope. Art's chair leg returns.
No, every movie brings something new to the table,
Yeah, he forges his own weapon in like every one. Like the third one, we'll get to it, but the whole liquid nitrogen thing.
Yeah, where he's got the nitrogen gun.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
But yeah, and this movie just has like a great Halloween atmosphere, I think, too. So.
Oh my God, yeah, I wanted to say that. You're right. No, the second film has a fantastic Halloween atmosphere vibe. Like it's in full effect. Between the costumes, the lights, passing out candy, just like
the costume store that they visit.
Store, dude. The costume store. It's all.
You have like that rave party where everyone's dressed up.
Yes.
Yeah. They go to like the haunted house at the end thing.
Yes. It's perfect. I mean, it really is like the quintessential Halloween watch. I mean, if you're going to watch a Halloween film, definitely put on Terrifier 2, because it's got all the vibes, but also the score is phenomenal in the
yes.
love that like synth 80s kind of score, and it fits the tone and the mood perfectly as well. I love all those scenes like where she's creating her costume with the angel wings and all that stuff, and you got that music playing in the background. It's so perfect. I love the music. It adds, it puts this movie on like another level. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to add to Terrifier 2 that I didn't cover?
Well, we got to talk about the girl who gets one of the most brutal kills like ever, where she gets sliced open, she gets sliced down her eyeball, she gets her part of her face ripped off, she gets her back ripped off,
she gets her arm ripped off, her other arm
just snapped and ripped
other arm
off.
like split this way.
Yeah, like right down the middle. And then Art's just pouring bleach and salt into the wounds all over her back, on her head, because you know, he scalped her. So she's got like her, you know, brain basically right there. He's just pouring salt and bleach all in there. It's so messy.
But then she's still not dead. And then she just like throws her on the bed and like just keeps cutting up her body and stuff. It's like, good God, dude. Like,
and then the mom walks in and sees that, and he's laughing hysterically. You know, he's getting a big old kick out of it. And the mom,
I love when he's like laughing and he like points at what he did too.
But the most disturbing part about that is, like you said, she's still alive, and she's just like, Mom, you know, that's like all she can, you know, muster up. Just that one word, and oh, dude. I still personally think that's the most disturbing kill of all of them in all of these movies. I still think it's
that's up
I think
there.
It's the best kill. I do. Terrifier 3 has some great ones. The first Terrifier also does, but I still think because that kill goes on for so long, and it's just so mean because it's like multi-layered. Because it's like he slashes her down the eye, scalps her, breaks her arm, her hand, all this stuff, right?
And then he leaves.
Then he
comes back with the bleach and salt.
And then dumps that all on her. And then again, then the mother walks in and, you know, she witnesses the whole thing. So you're like, oh my God, this is just, it's so brutal. It's like 3 acts in a kill scene.
It's its own short film.
It is. It really is. And it's, yeah, it's just crazy. And then, of course, that girl's name is Allie. That's my girlfriend's name, Allie. I was like, oh, that's her name's Allie. Oh shit. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So yeah, dude, that one for me is still number one. It's just, it's crazy. I mean, it's so well done.
It's so, like you said, it's so insane. It's just like so balls to the walls, like just going for it. You know, there's so much happening in this movie. Like we didn't even talk about the little pale girl yet. Like, we haven't talked about her.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, she's creepy as hell too.
Yeah. Oh. What do you think about her character being introduced? Because actually, you're right. Because you know, this is where we get to dive into like her father drawings, the lore, and now you've got the little. Then you find out the little girl was like killed at like a fair or an amusement park or whatever by Art. You know, so. Then, you know, because there's like all those newspaper clippings and everything. And, oh, you still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like glitched out for a second. Yeah, so you see those newspaper clippings, and you're like, so Art killed her, and then she became like this ghost girl that came back, and I don't know. I've heard some people say that she's the one that actually reanimated Art the Clown, like after he died, because he was like a man in the first film, like a serial killer, and then the little girl is like one of his victims, and then she came back and reanimated Art after he had died. Have you heard any of those things where it's like she's actually kind of the one that brought him back?
Yeah, so kind of talking about the lore that gets explained in 3 a little bit too. So I think it helps explain 2. From what I've heard, it's kind of like what?
Oh, you're glitching out a bit there.
Oh no. Is it better now? Am I okay?
Oh. Let's see. Yep. Oh, maybe.
Am I fine? Am I okay? Am I okay?
You know what? Why don't you leave and then come back in and see if it stops glitching?
Okay.
Maybe just boot yourself out really quick and come back in. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but I thought that was an interesting element. Finding out that like Art killed her, and then I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but
Is it better now?
yeah, I think so. So wait, go ahead and say what you're gonna say about the little girl.
Oh, yes.
Right.
So what I've heard, or like I guess my idea is that there's this demon that wants to come into our world, right?
Right.
And it's using someone else as a vessel to come into the world. And so 2 is a little pale girl. 3, it's Victoria, because there's obviously a demonic force in Victoria. And it's kind of like a Freddy versus Jason situation where it resurrects Art to do its bidding and just to kill people. But I'm not sure why, like, they need Art to kill or whatever. Or maybe it's because Art needs to tear, because like Sienna's like the opposite to this demon, right? And so it needs Art to go after the opposite of the demon, aka Sienna, and tear her down by killing everyone around her, so that way it makes Sienna weaker, so that way they can take over Sienna and then the demon can come into the world, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. No.
And so I think the little pale girl is possessed by the demonic entity that resurrects Art, if that makes sense. Or it doesn't. Well, I guess the little pale girl doesn't exist because it depends on who you are, if you can see her or not.
Right, but she exists to Art, because
Mhm.
they're both, like you said, the demon possessed the little pale girl, then brought back Art. That's why Art's the only one that can see her. Besides, I guess the kid, the brother can see them both, right?
And Sienna.
And Sienna can see them, but yeah, so that's interesting too. And I wonder if that's going to tie in back with the father, who it looks like he drew Art and drew pictures of obviously her, the daughter, wearing the suit and all that, the armor and all that kind of stuff. So you wonder if there's going to be more to it with the dad, that comes into play in like fourth film, because we already got flashbacks in the third movie in Terrifier 3, the dad and how he was drawing all this stuff, and his daughter Sienna wanted him to make draw this badass female, that can kick ass and da-da. And so he did that for her, but I guess we'll get into that in Terrifier 3. But I just think it's interesting because things are kind of starting to tie into each other a little bit, and I'm sure the fourth film will reveal even more, especially with the father. I think the father is going to come into play big time in the fourth film.
Well, and if they're only doing 4, maybe 5 if necessary, they have to answer everything,
right?
And not leave us with any cliffhangers, not leave us with any unanswered questions, because then it's like, you know what I mean? That's just not how you tell a completed story. So
yeah, no, exactly. I agree.
Yeah. Read some comments and we'll go to 3.
Sounds good.
Oh god, where are we? Sienna's the best final girl we've gotten in a long time. Very true. Very true. Clown Cafe sequence is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Yeah, that's definitely a standout moment of that film. The mom in Terrifier 2 is awful. She's so mean to her kid. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I do. She is.
Art has so much fun with his kills. His joy is infectious. Exactly.
He does.
I love that Art mixes up his weapons. Keeps it interesting. Yeah, that's true. Art's very versatile with how he kills people. He's not like Michael Myers that just uses the knife, or Freddy that just uses the glove. He switches it up all the time.
That's probably why you appreciate Jason so much as well, because Jason, especially in part 7, New Blood, dude, he uses like every different kind of weapon
The weed whacker
that you would
thing.
find out in a barn to kill someone with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. Sienna is definitely one of like the best final girls to come out, you know, in a very long time. You know,
For
I
me,
think,
probably since Sydney in Scream.
yeah, I think that's very true because she's very strong, and I think Lauren Lavera does an excellent job playing her. And the other thing I liked that I appreciate too is Sienna gets her ass kicked in both 2 and 3, and it's not like she's just this overpowered Mary Sue type character. It's like, no, she gets the shit beat out of her by Art.
Oh yeah, she gets her fair share of art torture.
Absolutely. So it's not like she just comes in, takes her sword, shoves it up Art's ass, and that's the end of it. It's like, no, they go toe to toe, and you know, I like
it's a pretty even fight.
Definitely, because you know you can't make Art look too weak to whoever the protagonist is, otherwise he kind of loses his power and why we're supposed to be afraid of him. So
or like how is he able to, you know, mutilate all these people with ease? It seems
exactly. So yeah, Sienna's a badass. I completely agree. You know.
All right, got a comment from my father. Favorite kill in each movie?
Oh, I was wondering if we were gonna do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the first one's the hacksaw scene for sure. I mean, it's just so incredible.
That's like what made that movie iconic is that hacksaw scene.
Definitely. But him unloading that clip into the girl that we think is going to be, you know, the final girl of the movie, it really took me by surprise the first time I watched it. And then the second movie, it's got to be Allie getting just
The bedroom
mutilated on that bed, man. I mean,
yeah.
it's insane. What about you?
Yeah. I gotta go with the hacksaw scene for the first one because that was like the most shocking thing like ever when I first watched the first Terrifier. I was like, what? Movies can do this? They're allowed to show that?
Yeah.
So that one, and then I gotta go with the bedroom scene too. I mean, those aren't really like interesting answers because they're like the two that everyone picks for those movies. Besides those two, then which one? So like, what would be your second favorite kill from each movie?
Yeah. Oh, and then I gotta also say for All Hallows Eve is just like him cutting off that lady.
Oh, the end.
Yeah, him cutting in the third story, cutting off all of her limbs, and she's still alive, and he writes all that stuff on her. That's for All Hallows Eve. That's definitely it, and that's a really mean one. And I guess it's technically, I mean, you assume she's gonna die, but she is still alive there. So, but I assume she dies.
So besides those ones, then what would be like your second one? Because we all know what everyone's favorites are going to be. You know, the hacksaw, the bedroom. So what would be your second favorites for a little bit more variety, I guess?
Yeah. So yeah, for the first Terrifier, like I said, the final girl, who we think is the final girl, getting shot a bunch of times in the face, definitely, because that took me so off guard. I couldn't believe that they did, you know, that they killed her. And then for the second movie, man, there's so many for the second film. It's crazy. Let's see. I'd probably go with the girl in the bathroom. Her other best friend.
With the acid in the face, and then she gets beat to death with Art's chair leg.
Yes. That was like, man, especially because the entire bathroom is just like covered in blood. It's just like by the end of that, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's got to be that one for me. What about you?
For the first Terrifier, I gotta go with that like bald guy. He gets like his face just like crushed in, like like I don't know if I think he stomps on it a few times.
He
And he
does.
like takes up like that big like metal tub thing and like slams it down. That I like that one. I like good head explosions in movies also.
Yeah, he literally just stomped his head until it like bursted open. And I like how they show the aftermath of that later during the coroner scene. You get to see it, That's a good one.
I like good head stomps in movies like Dr. Sartain in Halloween 2018. I like that. Have you seen In a Violent Nature yet?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when he like drops the rock on that guy's head.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like that type of kill. Then for 2, either the mom getting the shotgun to the face because it brings us the mashed potato scene.
Yeah.
Or the dude getting stabbed in the dick. One of those two. just because of what like precedes or what comes after it is really funny too. Like it's like the kill's kind of a setup to a joke, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, because the clown cafe scene's also insane. Because the one girl's like on fire, Art unloads on all of them with the Tommy gun. The kid's over there dead, from his cereal.
From eating the art crunch or whatever it is. Yeah. The cereal with razor blades and cockroaches in it.
Yeah. Oh man. And then you got the the owner that gets it pretty good too with the beer bottle.
Oh yeah, and then gets the
Halloween shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Art. I love how Art's just like the guy's trying to close up his shop. It's almost time to go home,
I love the way he like tries to buy the horn. He like puts it down and he's like. And then it's just like the way he slides it. He like slides it with his fingers. His hands are on the table, like the counter, like this. And then he's like digging through his trash bag, which comes to another great comment from it. What brand of trash bags does Art use? Because that thing is strong.
But yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, you would have to like quadruple layer that thing up or whatever just to get it from not breaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it also. It's like there's sharp things in there. Like trash bags rip pretty easily with sharp stuff, and he's got like all these weapons and stuff in there, like knives and stuff. So I don't know if that's actually a trash bag, but
yeah, it's awesome though. Just that dirty trash bag is such a cool look.
That's a good one too. The jack-o'-lantern head.
Oh, phenomenal!
That's a good one too. Yeah.
How the eyes are on fire and everything. Mm-hmm. So good.
Yeah. There's no like I wouldn't there's like no bad kills that Art does. Like they're all really good. So it's like besides like the ones that are like the standout ones, it's like any of them could really be your favorite,
Yeah, definitely.
Like I could see solid arguments for all of them. So all right. That'll bring us to Terrifier 3. And before we forget, let's do the our favorite kill for Terrifier 3 too, just before we forget. So I mean the shower scene, is like the standout thing. Just the chainsaw up the butt and the chainsaw through the groin. That's pretty awesome, and that one just goes on for a while.
And that one pays homage. That's definitely him paying homage, and I think giving something back for the ladies, because I know there have been a lot of complaints about how he tortures women and all that, even though he tortures men too. But I think he wanted to give the ladies a scene of their own where it's like kind of the hacksaw scene, except for with an actual saw, an electric saw or whatever, or a gas saw or whatever, splitting that guy down the middle, just like he did with the hacksaw in the first movie. So,
he doesn't stop there either. Like he
keeps going.
De-limbs that guy.
Yeah.
But then, another one that I know got my dad really good for the chainsaw is when he like cuts the dude's leg and then he like tries stepping out of the shower and he like puts weight on the leg and his leg like just falls apart and he falls down or whatever.
Man.
I mean that shower one's really good. I really it actually genuinely might be my favorite one of the film is the one where they're in the attic when he like pins the dude down through the hand with the nail, like does the box cutter and then just like de-skins his face. That one's awesome.
Yeah.
Really
yeah.
good.
I think the one I'm gonna go with is the mom who gets the
rats.
The rats down, but he like puts that big glass
tube
thing or tube, down her throat, and then puts the rats down the tube, and then slits her throat, and the bloody rats come out. For me, I think that's number one.
Yeah, that one's nasty.
Because it's the most disturbing too.
Yeah, that's like one of his more disturbing kills that he's done.
Oh yeah,
I'd say. Yeah.
So I'll go with that one for my number one.
But I think like the kills in 3, if I had to rank the movies purely off the quality of kills, I think they've all gotten better as they've gone along. Like just like the ones that stand out and stick into your mind more, you know. I think 3 has like the best overall.
And you've gotten more of them too, right? Because the body count keeps getting higher.
Yeah, it increases. Yeah. You got a lot of great ones, like the liquid nitrogen thing's awesome too.
The liquid nitrogen scene is amazing because he does it with the rats and then he does it with the Santa Claus, and man, it's messed up. So good.
Anyways, so Terrifier 3. This was my most anticipated movie of the whole year, not just horror films, movies in general. Could not wait for this movie. When I bought my ticket for Fantastic Fest, they didn't have any of the movies that you were going to see announced. So I had to wait like 6 months till they told me what I was going to potentially see there. And lo and behold, world premiere Terrifier 3. I'm like, oh my God, I have to see this. That was like the one thing I had to get into, you know, and so getting to see this movie with the cast and crew and stuff was just awesome. Getting to meet them was incredible. Watching this movie in like that setting is just awesome. So it's another great theater experience for me for Terrifier 3 on top of the fact that I just love the film too. So the whole Christmas aesthetic to this movie is awesome. This is going to be now one of those Christmas horror movies I watch every year, up there with Black Christmas. Both great holiday slashers. I know there's a lot of like, I don't know if controversy is the right word, but people like, my God, Art's killing kids, animal cruelty and stuff. I'm like, and to me, it didn't really faze me, I guess, because, well, I already knew it from All Hallows Eve. And I was watching Cody Leach, one of the YouTubers I met there, talk about the movie. And he said they do the killing the kids in a smart way to where they don't show you killing the kids. They just show the aftermath. And it's none of his, like, torture kills, you know? Like, I think, like, if he did the rat kill or something like the bedroom scene to a child, it would be received much worse. Instead of you just hear him hacking up this kid in the room, and then the mom opens the door and they just see the corpse there. Or you just see this explosion go off, and then you just see body parts, but there were adults there too. So it's like, well, was it the adult body parts or the kid ones, you know? And so it doesn't show you, it doesn't necessarily show you the kids getting murdered. It just shows you aftermath or suggested, I guess. So
yeah,
it didn't
linger on any of those shots for too long. No. It doesn't linger on like killing any of the kids, you know. It just kind of happens and then it's like done.
And where was it going? And like, was it shocking to me? Yeah. I was like, oh my God, he just did that. That was the reaction both times I saw this movie. Everyone was like you see him go into this bedroom with the axe, like, oh, he's gonna kill someone. Then you hear the little kid's voice, I told you, get out of my, and then you just hear the axe swing. You're like, holy shit.
Oh.
We're doing this now. Art is hacking that kid up. He doesn't just do it once. He does like 20 swings on that kid.
Yeah, you hear him hit the kid multiple times. Yeah.
Like, in typical Art the Clown fashion, it's not just, okay, stab you once, you're dead. He makes sure you're dead and then some.
Oh, yeah. And then the mom's reaction to that is like...
Yeah. Oh, and then you get right after that, you get the awesome, the mom just laying in bed and the husband's getting hacked up next to her. She's like, oh, what? Can you stop wrestling around? And then Art like buries the axe in his head and is like laughing and doing the Art thing. It's like, that was a great cold open. The whole mall scene with the bomb that goes off is funny. Art meeting Santa Claus, that's another standout moment.
Oh my god, I love that. The whole bar scene.
That was so funny.
Just his reactions to meeting Santa, like
he's like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love that. And then of course, and this is gonna be a hot item at Spirit Halloween, but you got the tree glasses.
Oh yeah.
Tree glasses.
He upgraded from the sunflower ones.
Yep. So that's going to be huge. But yeah, I love that the film pays so much respect to a lot of the other classic Christmas horror movies, like
Black Christmas, like I said,
Black Christmas.
When he's sitting in the rocking chair, it's like that's like a direct shot from that movie. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And then obviously Silent Night, Deadly Night with the open, clearly.
Yeah, and well, throughout the whole movie too, with just a killer Santa with an axe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think they do a really good job with that. And there's so many really fun moments throughout, I would say. The mall scene is definitely one. Another interesting moment was when they're all sitting down together having dinner, and then she sees her dead friend.
Yeah.
From her, and she's like completely, mutilated, like almost unrecognizable from when Art killed her, because that was the friend in the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guy killed in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that reminded me of an American Werewolf in London, kind of, because how like he sees his dead friend, that got killed by the wolf or whatever, by the werewolf. He starts to see and then he starts to see all the people that he kills when he becomes a werewolf. So it was interesting. It kind of just gave me a little bit of those flashbacks that I'm like, oh, she sees like her dead friend that's trying to talk to her or whatever.
I was expecting more of that throughout the film too. I was like, oh, are they gonna like bring back all these people from 2 that got murdered and show us their mutilated, reanimated corpses? I thought that was gonna come into play, but it didn't.
Me too. Yeah, same thing. Because
maybe that'll come back in 4 or something with people that died in 3 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What else did you like about it? What do you think about the expanding on the story itself?
That was like the biggest thing I wanted this film to do, was answer some of those questions from 2. And I think it does that. And it still leaves some stuff unanswered, but but watching this film, that the little girl, like her cousin, I think, gets like gets sucked into hell or something. Gabby, right?
Gabby, yep.
Yeah, she gets like sucked into hell, I assume. And Art the Clown escapes, and it's just kind of Sienna, right? So it's a very big cliffhanger. And so before they even said anything at the Q&A, where they're like, yeah, there'll be a Terrifier 4. In my head, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be a 4th one, because it's just because Yeah,
Has to be.
because it's a cliffhanger, and so um, it didn't it didn't necessarily bother me, I guess, all that much that they left stuff unanswered because I know we're getting another one. Whereas two's could stand as its own thing. You know, you'd have 1, 2, and it's not a cliffhanger, right? It's not obviously part one of a story. 3 is part one of a 2-part story, I would say. You know,
Right.
and honestly, that's kind of like my only negative thing about the film is that it's one of those like things where it's a cliffhanger and you know they're making a second one and you have to wait a few years for it. That's literally the only thing that bothered me about this film upon rewatch, right? Because anything that bothered me when I saw it the first time, rewatching it, it didn't bother me again because I kind of knew where things were heading, I guess, and I knew some of the answers of like, oh, what's going on with Victoria? Well, I didn't know that until about halfway through the film, and so the first half of the film I was confused the whole time. But rewatching it with that context, that makes sense.
No, it does, and I agree with you. This feels like, even though it doesn't say it in the title, it feels like it should say Terrifier 3 Part 1. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like how you have to read it as, because even though the first Terrifier and the second Terrifier clearly end with like there could be more, right? Because the first one he's reanimated, the second one he's reanimated again basically because she gives like birth to him,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but they're not like, oh, you're not gonna like they're not leaving any like story, too much of it left untold. I mean, it's like you said, there's a lot of unanswered questions in the second movie, but it still feels like it ends, right? She defeats Art.
She saves her brother.
Cuts his head off. She saves her brother. So it still feels like pretty much an ending. Whereas this third movie definitely feels like a cliffhanger, right? Because you don't know, where's Gabby? Like, is she gonna make it?
She got sucked into there with the sword. This is the first time that Art like runs away. Right. Usually he gets like if he gets hurt or whatever in these scenes, he just keeps coming at him. Like at the end of Terrifier 2, that whole scene, right? Like he gets the leg in the back of his head, he gets cut up with the scalpel, he gets cut with the tails, he gets stabbed a bunch. He just keeps coming at him. In this one, he jumps out the window and runs away and goes sits on the bus at the end and goes to wherever he's going. And Art's never done that before. So it's like, what's going on with Art? Why would he do that? Like, where'd Gabby go? What is Sienna going to do now?
Yeah, because Sienna just looks so defeated by the end, even though, she, kind of defeated Art in a way. I mean, he just ran away, so he's not like dead or anything. But like, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, well, Sienna's still alive, but it definitely doesn't feel like a victory because Gabby's gone. Both her aunt and uncle are now dead. Her brother, it appears as though he's dead, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that either. It just seems very odd to me personally that you would have a main character, I would say more so in 2, a main character. He's more of a side character in this one. A recurring character die off screen, like that. So I'm still after 2 watches. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't think he's, and well, since that's proven in the lore, you can resurrect people or whatever. Maybe he'll get resurrected in 4 or something. I'm not totally convinced as of right now that Jonathan is gone for good.
I agree, because for one thing, to not show a main character like that getting killed on screen, I think is kind of a disservice to that character, especially in a Terrifier movie. It's like if he is dead, then he needs to be shown being brutally killed by Art. Otherwise, I don't know. It's kind of like a cop out, or I just don't like that. So I'm hoping that he comes back in the 4th one, and then we find out that it was just kind of like a psych out type thing. But I guess we'll see. I'll be honest. I'm not really a huge fan of Jonathan in this film. I did think he was kind of whiny and whatever. I don't know. I just didn't really care for his character. He I didn't mind his character in the second movie because he was a kid, so I'm like, okay, he's acting like a kid, so that's fine. But in this film, it's 5 years later, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a time jump 5 years later, right? So I feel like he should have matured more in this time, and obviously that's gonna mess you up what happened. But I feel like the character just kind of feels too much the same. Like he didn't really grow, nothing really. I mean, he's in college and stuff, but he just feels. I don't know. I just didn't like the writing for him. He kind of got on my nerves, much like his mother did in the second movie. So,
like mother, like son, right?
Exactly. So that was the only part of the film where I was just like, man, I'm not feeling this Jonathan character this time around. But I still think Sienna's awesome.
Oh yeah,
and she's the main character, so that's fine. I'm not going to be heartbroken if Jonathan really is dead, but I think he should have gotten killed on screen if it turns out that he, actually was killed. Maybe we'll get like a flashback. Hopefully, we'll get something that's in the fourth movie that shows what happened there.
Yeah. But
anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
What did you think of Jason Isaac as the father?
I thought it was good.
I thought he was really good too. I
thought his death was pretty cool, where Art's like using his body to decorate the tree with like the intestines and his head at the top of the tree. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Or not Jason. I'm sorry, I meant Jason Patrick, not Jason Isaac. Jason Patrick as Sienna's father in the flashback.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Jason Patrick. Jason Patrick. I thought that actor did a really solid job playing like a father.
For not being in the movie for so long, I thought it was fine. I would assume we're gonna get more of him in 4, and like going forward. So hopefully I hope he gets a bigger role in the upcoming movies, to explore what's going on with him more, stuff like that.
But, yeah, I think they will. I think they'll flesh out that character more in 4.
But
there were also a lot of great cameos in this too, right? You had
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. You had the Chris Jericho guy. Tons of cameos throughout. The guy that played Santa Claus. He's a popular
something Roebuck, Daniel Roebuck.
Yes. Awesome. Really loved him as Santa. I thought he did a great job. John Abrams. He was the guy that the box cutter kill, or he rips his face off, whatever. Yeah, he's from Scary Movie, the first Scary Movie, and he's been in a million like horror type movies and stuff. So he was also in House of Wax, the remake from 2000.
Oh, that remake.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I appreciated all the cameos. I thought they were good. I thought they fit well into the movie too. It didn't feel like forced. Clint Howard. Yeah. I was dying. Clint Howard, when he was just sitting there at the bar or whatever. Yeah, he was really making me laugh a lot.
So, as of right now, it's very hard for me to choose between the two, but 2 and 3 are like pretty close to being tied for me. I just prefer 2 slightly more, just because I think it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more insane than 3, but they're like right here together. So
neck and neck.
Yeah, they're like some of my favorite. 2 and 3 are like some of my favorite like modern horror movies to come out, and Terrifier 3 is in my top 5 of the year so far. I freaking loved it, man.
Well, and it's something original, right? I mean, we're finally getting something, because people complain about like, all we get is Michael Myers, and Chucky and Ghostface and like
in another Conjuring spin-off movie.
Another Conjuring, yeah. So it's nice that we're getting something more original now. Like art is. I think that's great. So yeah. Oh, and Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving too as well.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, but it's a different killer. We got another slasher guy. I'm glad we're getting some new faces
instead of just the same old.
Exactly.
Even though I'd like another Jason movie because we haven't got one in 15 years now.
Well, and it would be the 13th one.
Yeah, like come on. That would market itself. The 13th Friday the 13th movie. Like, why did you stop at 12? Like, come on.
Yeah, let's go for the 13th Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th. That'd be insane. Come on.
That's all you got to do to market it. Just put that on a poster. No trailer. $1 billion.
All right, let's go.
When the kid in the mall opens the gift and says, "I wonder what I got," right before the explosion happened. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it shouldn't be funny, but it is. It's played off in a very comical way, right? Because Art's just having such a good time. The kids are having fun. The first few gifts are legitimately gifts for the children. So you're like,
Which in the Q&A afterwards, Damien Leone said all those gifts are from that house at the beginning. If you look at like the kids' bedrooms, those are the toys in their room. He took them and then gave them to the kids at the mall. And so I looked for that. I looked for that the second time. I'm like, oh my god, that is awesome.
That's hilarious.
Did you guys notice in the beginning of T2, he takes a scalpel, acid, and some change from the coroner and uses all of those items over the course of the movie? I didn't realize that, but now that you say it, I do recognize that.
Wait, read that again. At the beginning of Terrifier 2, the scalpel, the acid, and some change from the coroner. Oh, yeah, that is clever. You're right. Yeah. It's funny, and that goes back to what you were saying about the gifts. He like reuses a lot of this. Like he takes things and then he like reuses them or makes them into weapons or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. That's very clever.
Oh, I will say about the gift thing. The kid was unwrapping the box, and in the back of my head, I'm like, "Is this a bomb?" The first time I was watching it, I'm like, is this going to explode and kill them all? And it did. And I was like, yes. I'm like, wait, did I just like cheer for being right that some kids just got exploded? The way Art vanished at the end of T3 gave me Michael Myers vibes. The open window with the snow falling was such a great shot. Yeah, that totally Michael Myers move right there.
He did. Yeah. It's like Michael Myers and Batman.
I think Jonathan did grow a bit. We just didn't really get much of him in T3. As far as his possible deaths goes, why would Art have his glasses if he was alive? Art doesn't let people go. Yeah, I saw a defense of it too. Of like, well, it was supposed to be like a shock reveal, so they didn't want to show you Jonathan dying, so it could be like shocking.
Did they confirm?
So you feel like what?
Did they confirm it during that con? Did anyone ask? Is Jonathan really dead?
No one asked about that. No
that would have been a great question to ask during that. Damn it.
Yeah.
Because it would have forced them to be like, "Oh, you'll have to wait until 4," which means he's not dead. Or it would have been like, "Yeah, he's dead." Damn, I can't believe nobody asked that. I mean, maybe we're just reading too much into it. I just can't believe that Art killed someone off screen like that, though. Like a big,
especially character. Like a named character. I would say like that. Like I can do it to Extra 47 walking down the street. Just he's decapitated now. Okay, cool.
Because you also got that with the little girl that was hiding in the opener. The little girl that was hiding underneath like the sink.
He just kind of reaches for her and then that's it.
What happened to her? Yeah, it's like you don't know. So it's very strange. It does make you wonder. But that was cracking me up too. That part where after Art like it killed everyone, he's like cleaning the dishes.
I love that stuff. He just murders a family. Then he goes to eat the cookies and he's like scrubbing the dish. I'm like, yes, that's the stuff I love. Maybe Jonathan is alive as a prisoner that's blind AF. Yeah, maybe he's a prisoner in Art's house thing. That disgusting house that he has his workshop
Yeah,
in, apparently. Maybe he
yeah,
took
something.
Jonathan back there and he's just like chained up or something there and he just took his glasses. I don't know.
Well, because what I was thinking is, so like, let's say he kidnapped the little girl from that house, and then he kidnapped Jonathan, and then maybe he's going to use them as vessels, like for this
Going
demon.
forward for the demon now that Victoria's dead.
Yeah, because you need vessels. Because maybe the little girl's vessel, or maybe the little girl that he kidnapped will be a vessel for the ghost girl in the second movie, and then for Art, he could go inside Jonathan. I don't know. It's just something that I was thinking.
That'd be a really interesting twist. Well, here I have another thing. So we're going to talk about 4.
Yeah.
It's like, so like, what are some things that you think might happen? What are things you want to happen for Terrifier 4 and beyond, I guess?
So that is something that I think really could happen. Are those vessels, like him keeping prisoners 4 vessels later for this demon, right? Because I feel like, yeah, you got to kind of start wrapping up the story. I definitely want to see more from the father, because he's the one, he like drew Art the clown. He drew her, he drew that character that's Sienna, wearing the wings and the armor and all that kind of stuff. I just want to get more into the actual story and see how it, kind of wraps up, basically. Just give us everything, right? Because we're at Terrifier 4, so I don't know if you can string this out too much longer, because I just don't know if there's enough story to really make that happen. So yeah, I guess that's it, really. I just, kind of want to see, things. So yeah, because Sienna's going to have to go and rescue Gabby. That's definitely going to happen. So I guess maybe we'll get a look at, could we possibly get a look at like the underworld? Will Sienna go and look more through her father's notes and drawings and letters and somehow find an entrance way? Because it's almost kind of like her father's been writing this story in a way. So maybe there's
almost like a prophecy, I guess.
Right. So maybe there's something in there, in his writings and his drawings and all that stuff that she'll find, and that will lead her to Gabby, and then maybe it will be this cool, like, kind of underworld type thing where,
like, final showdown with Art type deal.
Yeah, like Sienna will have to go to hell to battle Art one last time, and then
and maybe like finds the demon down there that's trying to come into our world, and she like kills that demon, so that way there's no one to resurrect Art or anything, and then it's like, okay, now Art can actually be killed or something.
Yes, exactly. I think something along those lines. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I want them to wrap it up in like a satisfying way, right?
Yeah.
Like since it's like it's on a high with 2 and 3, like very much so right now. Where they're getting lots of praise, a lot of people are loving them. I want them to keep that and not like fumble the ending, Like I don't want them to be like, oh well, Art's just gonna kill Sienna, or something stupid like that, where I want it to feel earned, and I want it to make sense with what's happening with our story and feel satisfying. Like I don't want them to end the movie in a definitive way and then be like, okay, well that's the end of Terrifier, and then we're not satisfied with the ending of this whole journey we're going on, this whole epic battle between Sienna and Art that's spanning multiple movies now. So I just want it to be satisfying.
And I think we'll see, when she goes to rescue Gabby, I think we'll see her having to confront her father, whether it's in like the underworld or whatever. Maybe the demon is possessing Sienna's father. and we'll get something that where she'll have to like basically kill her own dad to reclaim Gabby. And I think she'll also, even if Jonathan is dead, I think she'll run into him in the afterworld too, one last time. I think you'll get a lot of that kind of stuff. Maybe the mother will even come back too. I think it's going to be a lot
Like
of those.
like her whole family or something.
Yes, I think Sienna's going to have to. That's what she's going to be battling, is kind of like her inner demons, the things that still haunt her. You know, the fact that she doesn't really have any answers to what happened with her father, and then the tragedy of what happened to her brother and her mother. And I think she's just going to be battling a lot of those kind of demons. Her family is going to be coming back. And yeah, and I just think that'd be a really solid way to close out the final chapter. And then obviously lots of great Art the Clown going around.
Of course.
Of course, all that stuff too.
And then also when they kill Art, they have to make his death like insane and awesome, you know? Because
yeah.
as much as I like seeing these slasher icons dish out pain, they deserve like a awesome kill, you know, like Jason in Part 4 type kill, you know, something
Yes.
like
It has
awesome
to be.
like that. It's got to be brutal, like it's got to be awesome for our boy Art. So, how messed up would it be for Sienna to have to go up against Art and Jonathan's body? That'd be insane.
I really
she's
think
like,
we're gonna get something like that,
where she's got to be like, well, I'm not gonna kill you, Jonathan, but it's like not actually Jonathan or something. She's got to get past that or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think Damien will let us down with the conclusion of this story. He has yet to disappoint. The movies just keep getting better and better. Yeah. I have all the faith in the world that Damien and the whole Terrifier crew and everyone involved is going to do great on the film. It's just, you have so many times to where they, you know, like fumble the endings of stuff. Like the recent Halloween trilogy, right? Like Halloween Ends isn't a satisfying conclusion at all to that story. Regardless if you like that movie or not, it's not the story they were telling across that trilogy. Halloween Ends isn't the satisfying conclusion to that, and so I don't want them to do something like that, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly, and I don't think he will.
No.
I think he'll give us a very satisfying ending, you know, because this is like everything to Damien Leone. Mm-hmm. This character, this character has made him
literally made his career.
Right. Exactly. So he definitely wants to give Art, you know, this epic conclusion. And I'm sure he'll end it in the most bloody, like gory finale between Art the Clown and Sienna. And yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be like legendary, basically. And a very fitting conclusion to everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a concern for me, you know, that they're not going to do it right. But, you know, whenever someone's like, hey, this is going to be the final one, you always have that little bit of like, don't mess this up. Just don't mess it up, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I trust them and I could bet body parts that I'll love it. That just like that little like voice in the back of my head that's like screaming from the distance, but don't mess it up.
All right, don't do it.
Yeah. But so, well, out of the 4 films we do have with Art the Clown right now, how would you rank them?
Yeah, so I would go from best to least favorite. I'm not even gonna say worst, just kind of least favorite. My number one best one would be the original Terrifier, which I know is crazy to say, but I'm telling you, man, I had so much fun watching that first rewatching the first Terrifier. It definitely, like, I don't know, there's something about it, you know, there really was. And then I would go Terrifier 2, and then Terrifier 3, and then All Hallows Eve.
All right.
So, yeah. How about you?
Going from favorite to least favorite.
Yep.
I would go 2 as my favorite, then 3, but it's like insanely close. Like if I watch 3 a couple more times, just like 3's the brand new one, right? Like I've had 2 for a few years now. I've watched it numerous times outside of theaters, so I've seen that one more. Give it some time. That I don't know. I really don't know. So 2, 3, then 1, then All Hallows Eve.
Okay.
That's how I would go as of this moment in time. So yeah. Where does out of like, do you think Terrifier 3 will end up in your top of the year at all? Like top 10 or anything of the year?
Oh, then I was just gonna say to anyone out there in the chat, Allie, anyone out there, your dad.
Oh yeah, go ahead and rank them.
Yeah, rank yours.
Rank yours. Tell us what some of your favorite kills are. Tell us what your favorite kill from every movie is too.
Yeah, there you go. So, and then what'd you say about Terrifier 3?
Oh, do you think it'll end up being in like your top 10 or anything at the end of the year?
Oh, okay. It'll be in my top 10. I'll be honest, man. This has been a pretty good year for horror, but
Yeah,
I
it's
think
been pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some bad ones, right? Like we had Night Swim.
Anything from Blumhouse, you mean?
Yeah, Night Swim was garbage. Tarot, I thought Tarot was terrible.
Did you see that the mouse trap? Did you watch that? Don't. That thing is.
I don't even want to, man.
Don't. Let's not even. I'm ashamed of myself for even mentioning that.
But I mean, yeah, I could see Terrifier 3 definitely making top 10. Now, top 5, I don't know, because you have The Substance, Strange Darling.
Strange Darling. Strange Darling is my favorite film of the year, just in general.
Oh, it's so good, man. Strange Darling.
I love that movie so much. That has been the movie that I watched it once and then I went to go rewatch it in theaters and then just like sitting on thinking about it, I'm like, okay, this is my favorite movie of the year. The movie I talk about I think about the most in theaters. That has been the movie I've been telling people, go see this movie. Watch this movie. It's on VOD. Watch this movie. Like, it's so good.
And I'm a huge Kyle Gallner fan, man. Allie and I both are huge Kyle Gallner fans. So anything that he puts out, especially if it's a thriller / horror movie, we're gonna go support it every time. Because I just think Kyle Gallner is just incredible.
That's the movie that you shouldn't know anything about going into it.
No, I completely agree. Don't look up anything about Strange Darling. Just
because I went to go see it by myself and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I need to see this again. And so I convinced my mom and her boyfriend to go see it with me. And I was like, and I'm like, just don't look up anything about it. Just trust me. This movie's really good. Okay. That's all you need to know. And we went and saw it and they didn't know what it was. And they're like, yeah, that was really good. I'm like, exactly. Just trust me.
Yep. Just go in there, go in blind. But we also got Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, that one's awesome. Loved
it. Immaculate.
I want to rewatch that one. I really do. Because I
Cuckoo.
That one's also really good. That one's also in my top 10.
Yep.
There's a lot of really good horror films. Like, well, you haven't seen it yet, but Heretic's awesome.
I can't wait to see Heretic.
It was really good.
Oh, man.
Longlegs.
What's that actor's name?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. I just love the idea of Hugh Grant in this horror movie because I think he's going to do an awesome job.
He is the best part of that movie. He's like, he's creepy funny looking. And charismatic, but he's like so sinister.
Yeah. He's got like the perfect face, especially like with those, because doesn't he have glasses on too? He just looks like a creeper. I mean, he does. I'm sorry. So it works out well for the film. Well, what was the other one you said? Oh,
Longlegs.
Long Legs.
And Abigail as well.
Abigail, yes.
You got Alien Romulus. That one's
Yep.
really good too.
Yep.
Yeah, there's quite a like
There's
there's
the First Omen.
yeah, five of my top 10 of the year as of right now. The 5, 6 of them horror movies, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. I didn't like the way the First Omen ended, but I loved everything up until the ending. I'll say that.
Oh, like that final scene in like the snow area cabin.
Yes,
Thing. Yep,
yes, because
yep,
it felt
100%
like
agree.
I'm like, dude, that's not the way an Omen film should end. You know what I mean? It should have ended with the fire. I'll just say that it should have just ended there, because that was such a great
yes,
ending.
yes.
Yeah. If I was watching the film, I would literally stop it right there. I would just hit the stop, and that's it. There wouldn't go any further than that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I thought the First Omen was very the style of it, the cinematography, just all it was very well made, and but I thought Immaculate was just a better version of it because it didn't puss out with the ending. The ending was brutal to Immaculate.
I was like, oh damn, they went there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they definitely went there.
Yeah. Like part of the way that I do it too is like on Letterboxd I'll give something the star numerical rating, but then when I like rank them, I try to, if it has the same star rating, I'm like, okay, which one would I rewatch? That's kind of how I go. And so even though like some of these all have the same score, I'm like, okay, which one would I rewatch more than the other one? And so that's why Terrifier 3 is so high, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm going to end up rewatching Terrifier 3 more than I do, as much as I love the movies, more than Abigail, more than Long Legs, more than Cuckoo, stuff like that. I'm just going to, because it's just something I'm really into, you know what I mean?
No, that totally makes sense. Absolutely. You're right. Out of all those movies, because it's more of a fun watch, and it's got like some good comedy in there, even though it's so weird to say that about Terrifier 3, but it's true. It does. It is humorous in a very dark, messed up, disturbing way. It does have a lot of comedy too. It's just dark comedy. But the other films are very serious, that we mentioned. They don't have
Long Legs is dead serious.
Yeah, right, exactly. They don't.
The only thing funny about that is like some of the Nicolas Cage stuff, but
right, mommy, daddy.
God. Yeah, the Substance. I forgot. Yeah, that's awesome too.
Substance. So the Substance actually has some good dark comedy as well.
Yeah. So,
oh man,
that movie came out the Friday, literally the day after this festival started, and I'm stuck at this festival. I know, stuck at a festival for 8 days, for literally a whole week, as I see film Twitter and Instagram blowing up. They're like, my God, the substance, it changed my life. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And everyone at the festival was talking about it. There were people leaving the festival to go to another theater to go watch The Substance. I'm like, oh my God. And so my dad and he picked me up from the airport when I got home, and then we went and saw The Substance like an hour later.
And like, you were telling your dad, you're like, be ready, Dad. As soon as you pick me up, we're going right to the movie theater. We gotta go see The Substance.
Yeah. I will say a little bit overhyped for me, just because I hear like, what people do online, like greatest thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, this is so shocking. And that's like all I heard about it. And I'm also just not big in body horror. Still great. It's my number 11 of the year right now. So can't take anything away from it. Just barely out of my top 10. Just one of those movies where it's like everyone like kind of overhyped it a little bit,
No, I know. A lot of people felt that way for Long Legs too.
Same. Even the Long Legs, I really dug Long Legs.
Me too. Yeah.
Everyone was saying, this is the scariest movie ever. Genuinely terrified. There are a lot of creepy moments in the film. I wasn't scared though. No, I don't get scared at movies like at all. I can count maybe on one hand the amount of movies I've ever terrified me or made me actually feel scared for a little bit. Right. And Long Legs was not one of them. But movie's great though.
Oh yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from the movie.
It's shot beautifully. I love the look of that movie.
And then
And Micah Monroe is phenomenal. Anything Micah Monroe's in, I'm gonna go watch it.
have you? So I watched Longlegs, and then I went back and watched Osgood Perkins' other movie, one of his other ones, The Black Coat's Daughter. Have you seen that?
Yes. Yes.
I thought that was awesome too.
Great.
I was like, while watching, I'm like, oh, he's got a thing for devil figures in the background.
He sure does.
But now I'm like, yeah. But now I'm like, but now he's like on my radar, you know, because like he's got the monkey, I think, coming out next year.
I didn't watch. There's a trailer for that, right?
I don't want to watch it.
Okay, yeah.
But I saw that there was a trailer. It's like based off Stephen King, producer James Wan, Osgood Perkins, and like I really enjoyed Longlegs, really enjoyed Black Coat's Daughter, and so now I'm like, okay, that I'm very excited for that now. So
James Wan, Osgood Perkins, Stephen King. Yes, please.
Yes. We'll get some chats. 1, 2, 3 haven't seen All Hallows Eve. I think it's streaming somewhere. Maybe I think it might be Prime or Shudder.
So your dad goes two. He goes 2, 3, 1 as his favorites. 2, 3, 1.
Yes.
Okay. So he's lined up with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
My ranking would be 3, 2, 1 All Hallows Eve, but I genuinely love 1 to 3. The ranking's going off how I'll rank. Yeah, there's a solid argument for any order, honestly. I could see it.
Yeah. I can't wait to rewatch Terrifier.
Mashed potatoes. Yep, I know that's my dad's favorite kill, the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Heretic comes out the weekend of my birthday. Let's go see it together. Yes, you should go see Heretic.
Allie, it's a date. We'll definitely go do that. That's cool. I didn't realize.
It's so good. You have to talk to me about it once you see it.
Absolutely.
What does Art's voice sound like? That is a very interesting question. I told him, well, I gotta finally hear David Howard Thornton talk at this festival. And I told my dad that was the weirdest part about, like, the weirdest thing, anything celebrity wise at the festival is like, I gotta hear David Howard Thornton speak because I don't know what his voice sounds like. when you walk up, you're like, hey man, movie was great. Can I get a picture? He's like, oh yeah. And he's like the
It'd
nicest.
Be funny if he was like,
he's the nicest. He's like the nicest guy, you know, like it's like weird because he's like the worst thing imaginable in the Terrifier. He's like the nicest dude ever when you go and meet him. So yeah, it was weird to hear him talk.
It is, because then sometimes you're gonna hear that like while you're watching him as Art the Clown, and you're gonna have that voice maybe in the back of your head a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and they were kind of talking about how they like tried to make Art the Clown, you know, kind of like a mashup of all these killers or like all these horror icons, because he's silent. He's silent like Jason and Michael, but he's got the personality of like Chucky and Freddy. He's got the gore.
Oh yeah.
Like where he's got like the insane, like the Grindhouse, torture-y stuff, like Texas Chainsaw, Saw, Hellraiser, you know.
Yeah.
And then he's the clown, like Pennywise, the Killer Clowns, you know. So he's like this mashup of all this stuff. So, and I think it works. Definitely works. I love that he doesn't talk, because that's what makes him so much more fun, you know, because he's got these exaggerated facial expressions, and like that's part of like what I think so funny is that he's like laughing. He's like a mime, you know. He's like laughing, but there's no noise coming out, and he's like
yeah,
like
and
pointing at stuff. It's just so funny.
It's like he sees humor, like he expects you to be laughing with him almost, like when he's showing like the mother, her dead daughter,
the mangled corpse of her daughter.
Yeah,
he's like, look, this is so funny, and she's like, no.
She is technically still alive in that scene, but she's basically like knocking on death's door, and he's laughing hysterically, without making any noise. And then he's just looking at the mom like, oh, isn't this funny? Like, almost like you should be laughing with him. Like, look what I did. Isn't this hilarious?
Well, it also
it's
like
always
adds...
his reaction to something like that. And I think that's even more goes to that like disturbing factor. It's like, oh my God.
Well, yeah, because he's like enjoying what he's doing, Whereas you watch like some other horror movies and like not a whole lot of the horror icons are necessarily getting a lot of this enjoyment out of what they're doing, like Jigsaw, I don't think is enjoying torturing these people. He's trying to teach them a lesson, right?
Right.
To a certain extent, the Cenobites from Hellraiser, like that's just kind of just what they do. That's kind of like their job in a way.
Yeah, the Cenobites in Hellraiser are kind of just like Hell's police.
Yeah.
They just, if somebody escapes hell, they're like coming looking for them, and they're gonna drag him back down to torture him some more and everything.
And then like Michael just kills someone because they walked in front of him. Like I don't think he doesn't have emotion. Leatherface is killing people because they're trespassing.
Yep.
It's not like he's venturing off of his family's farm to murder people. So like that's like the one element of art that I kind of like, that he's enjoying what he's doing, and that just like adds so much to his character, I think.
Yeah, he does. He's having a good time with it. It all is this like perfect amalgamation, just all the perfect ingredients rolled into one character. So yeah, art's fantastic, man. He's a horror icon now. I mean, he is 100% a horror icon. When you have your own animatronic thing at Spirit Halloween, and you have all of these different accessories that you can buy, and shirts, and
costumes,
and let me tell you
masks, Funko Pops.
You have made it into the like mainstream, basically. This isn't
you got steel books.
Steel book.
Movies.
Yes.
He's an icon. So
absolutely.
The plan is to meet Damien and David at a convention next year. Yeah, definitely meet them. They're both great guys. I've met them twice now because I met them at a horror convention a few years ago, and then I just met him talked to him again, I guess now, like a month ago. Both times they were wonderful to meet and talk to. I got to talk to him more at the horror convention, for about 10 minutes, just talking about Terrifier and stuff with them. Because that was only when the first film existed, and they were in production of 2. So before it got super popular, but yeah, a lot of fun to talk to, super nice. So yeah, if you get a chance to meet them, I would say definitely meet them. Art to me is like Charlie Chaplin's Tramp character, but as a complete psychopath. My perfect combo.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe him. Yeah, the Charlie Chaplin in the sadistic serial killer, slasher world.
Yep. All right. Well, that's about all that I had planned for the stream today, sir. So
that was great.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for joining me, talking about our new horror icon and his franchise. That's absolutely crushing it at the box office. I'll actually go ahead and look up what it's made so far. But
congratulations to Damien Leone and just the entire cast, and they've done a hell of a job with the writing, with the gore, the practical effects. Everything's so top notch. Just all the visuals and camera work, and the final girl, Sienna, is excellent.
So as of right now, it's made $27 million, which is almost 14 times its budget. That's insane.
And I think it's just going to keep making more and more money, man. And
it hasn't even been out a week yet.
Yeah. So. David Howard Thornton, man.
So on So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday, 4 out of the 5 days that it's been in theaters, it's been number 1. Monday, it dropped to number 2. But
And then I heard that this is the first time that that Damien Leone didn't have to do like all of the makeup and practical effects and all that stuff. He actually had like a team to help him with that now because he has more money, obviously. So that's cool. You know, it takes a little bit of the stress off of him.
Thank you. Great.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. Yes. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Thanks. So, any other horror releases you're looking forward to for the rest of the year? Anything else that you're gonna that's a news content you're gonna do?
I guess The Heretic for sure would be one.
Mm-hmm. Put that one on your radar.
I don't know. What are some? I feel like
Nosferatu.
Oh, Nosferatu would be the big Christmas one.
Yeah,
that'd be like to kind of wrap up the year, basically.
That's kind of the movie that I'm most looking forward to for the rest of the year.
Because it actually comes out, isn't it, on Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that literally is like the wrap-up film for the year.
Some horror films from the festival, some that you probably never heard of. I think it comes out in January actually, but Bone Lake, that one was really good.
Bone Lake, who's in that?
Let me see.
Bone Lake.
I don't know how to find crew on here.
Oh, okay, I see. So was this directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, and it has Maddie Hassan as Sage, Alex Rowe as Will, Marco Pagasi as Diego, Andra Nikita or Nishita or something is a Sin. So
yeah, it was really funny.
You said it was funny?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Is it funny? A funny horror film?
Yeah. Another funny one, Getaway. That's with Nick Frost. It's like a folk religious horror that turns into a slasher. It's got Nick Frost, and I think it was written by Nick Frost. That one's pretty funny.
It's called Getaway?
Fun. Yeah. The December comes out.
December, okay.
This one might be streaming soon, but Mads or Mad S. I think that one was really cool. Daddy's Head. I don't know if that released yet on streaming. Apartment 7A. That one released.
That one did Did you think that was any good?
I liked it. That was one of the films we saw at the festival.
Yeah, because I think that's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Or something, I think.
But so those are some of the ones. I'm really looking forward to Smile 2. I'm going to see that tomorrow. So.
Oh, that's right, Smile 2. Yeah, because I enjoyed the first Smile.
I love the first one.
I know that's kind of hit or miss for people, like in the horror community. Some people really liked it. Some people hated it. The trailer wasn't exactly hooking me in with the pop singer and all that stuff, but I enjoyed the first one so much. And once again, Kyle Gallner at least has a small part in Smile 2 because he's in the cast list. So even if it's just like a quick little thing, is in it. But yeah. So wait. So what? So out of everything, excluding Terrifier 3 and The Heretic, I guess, was there like another favorite that you had, or was it just pretty much the ones you listed there?
So those were just horror ones that I saw that I was listing. As far as other, Anora, which that comes out tomorrow, that one was really good. Saturday Night got released. Bring Them Down, which is kind of like Banshees of Inisherin type style. It's got Barry Keoghan in it. I don't know when that one's releasing. Yeah, those are kind of the main ones.
Okay. And then you also got to see the Creep.
The Creep tapes. Yeah. That's something to look forward to. We saw the first 3 episodes of the 6-episode miniseries. I don't remember. I think that comes out in November, if I remember what they said correctly on Shudder.
Right. Shudder, yep.
So if you like the Creep movies, I haven't seen the 2 Creep movies, but the one of the guys I was talking to after the movie, who I was talking to the whole festival, he said he loves the first 2 Creep movies, and he said it was awesome, and that it might be better than the 2 Creep movies. He said.
Wow, better than the 2 Creep movies. Interesting. Wow. Yeah, because I really like Mark Duplass as the league. I actually watched him in the show called The League. And that was the main thing I knew him for. He's very funny in that show. It's hilarious.
Oh, he's hilarious in this show.
And he's great in the first Creep as well. He's scary, but he's funny at the same time. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, I would assume if the show is like the same tone and vibe as the 2 Netflix movies, I think I could have a fun time with them. I thought he was like so funny in that role. It's like a horror comedy.
Yeah.
I would say there's just like so many like offbeat things that he does. And the 3rd episode has like this running joke about Forrest Gump that our whole theater thought was hilarious. Where it like, you know, he starts the episode by like talking about like Forrest Gump or whatever, and then it like circles back to that like 4 or 5 times throughout the whole episode where it'll be like a situation. He's like, oh, like in Forrest Gump or something, and it'll be like explaining a scene. It was so funny.
I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
Does he break out the wolf mask one more time?
Yeah, I think the wolf mask makes an appearance in like all the episodes, if I remember correctly.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check out the other 3 episodes because I was like, you're just going to show me half a season. Now I have to watch the rest of it. I was like,
oh, you have to now, man. You definitely have.
But, so yeah.
Hey, it puts your Shudder account to good use, you know?
Yeah. More use than I already do. I use that a lot. Anytime I go on Amazon Prime for something, I usually go to Shudder, check out some stuff.
Oh, also, I know you're not a huge fan of like anthology horror, but I thought that VHS Beyond was really good.
Yeah, they showed that at the festival too, and I really dug it. It was I'm not huge into the VHS movies, but VHS Beyond, right behind 94, is my second favorite of the franchise.
Yeah, because VHS Beyond had this very like quick energy to it. I mean, it was like, I would say they probably could have cut the last segment,
the final one,
that 5th story. They probably could have just cut that out. The one where, you know, she goes on to the, you know, spaceship. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. I think they could have cut that story out and just had the other 4. And it would have just been, because it kind of kills the pacing with that last story. It just like drastically slows down. But those first 4 segments were like boom, 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 boom. And they were so entertaining and fun.
That first segment where they're in the house with like the body cam footage.
Loved it.
Genuinely my favorite VHS mini film in the whole franchise. And the director was there of that segment. I told him, like, dude, that's my favorite one of any VHS film. That one was awesome.
It was. It really was. And it just, like I said, it was so fast paced. Like, they were not messing around. Like, if you're somebody who didn't, you know, like Allie, she wasn't the biggest fan of the first 2 VHS movies. But I think she might like VHS Beyond because the pacing and the stories are just so much like, I'm not gonna say better because I do enjoy the first 2 VHS movies, but the pacing and the like gore that they show and the like, I feel like the stories are just they're just more fast paced and more entertaining, you know, to watch. Like, they're not these kind of slow burn stories. They're just like go 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 go. And I don't know. I just had a lot of fun with them. I feel like VHS Beyond is just so different from like the first 2 VHS movies, but in a good way. Because, like I said, I love the first 2 VHS films, And I thought this VHS Beyond was also fantastic, just in a different way.
What about the other VHS ones? Have you seen them all?
So I've seen VHS 84, is it? Or is it 80?
85.
85, VHS 85. I've seen that one. I thought like half of them were good, and then the other half not so much. So kind of a mixed bag.
That's kind of how I feel about most of VHS movies.
Yeah, see, the VHS 1 and 2, I really do like most of those stories. Like even the worst ones out of those two movies are still like watchable to me. But VHS 85, a couple of them were just bad, and I just didn't.
VHS Viral, which is the third one, I didn't care for at all.
I haven't seen Viral.
That's the only VHS movie that I was just like, okay, I just don't care for this at all.
Because I heard exactly what you said. I heard it's just god awful. And then I haven't seen
94 is really good. 94 is really good.
I've heard nothing but good things about 94. I own the Blu-ray. I just need to get around to watching it because I know that's got a Ratman or whatever that thing is. That
genuinely the creepy that's one of my 5 things that's genuinely creeped me out because I was like, I think that's the first VHS film I ever saw, or 99 was coming out. I was like, oh, and I was like walking through a store one day and I was like, oh, VHS 94. Okay, I'll check this one out. I think I watched 99. I was like, okay, that's fine. Then I picked up 94 on Blu-ray and I was just like, okay, I'll just kind of throw this on. So I threw it on as I was trying to go to sleep one night. And the first segment's the Ratman one. And that genuinely freaked me out. And I like woke up. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh, it's so creepy.
That's great when a movie can do that, especially nowadays, because I feel like we're all so desensitized to like violence and creepy imagery and all that kind of stuff. So when something can genuinely like frighten you, then the movie did its job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, so the Ratman segment from VHS 94, the original Black Christmas, because I watched that when I was in college and I lived on the dorms. I watched that alone in my dorms on like Christmas break. Like all my roommates were gone. I watched it in my dorm, all the lights off. That freaked me out. Hereditary too, a little bit the first time I watched it. That's what I can think of off the top of my head.
Hereditary.
Smile. The first time I watched Smile, that got me quite a bit.
Whoa. There are some unsettling moments in that movie for sure.
Here's another one from this year. So this will go up there with VHS, Black Christmas. Those are two that like genuinely freaked me out. Oddity from this year. That one freaked me out.
Oddity's another one I forgot. Yeah, I
was watching that in the theater like by myself. I was like doing this. Like I was freaking out watching it because you have the one that got me because it's so tense. But the one that I hate that mannequin. Anyways,
don't spoil it though because
no,
he hasn't seen it yet. I'm gonna show that to her on our next visit.
There was the one jump scare. Hopefully you'll understand where she's sitting in the tent, like looking out.
Yes,
you know which one I'm talking about.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. I kept waiting for it, and I was like, I know it's coming, and it's still. I know.
Thank God I was in the theater by myself because I was like, oh my god. You do like, oh fuck. And I like screamed in the theater. So those 3. I'm just I'm just going through Letterboxd and looking at everything I've seen to like see if there's anything else.
No, those are good ones. Yeah, Hereditary as well. I mean, the whole tone of Hereditary is just.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorites.
Oh no, it is, but it's a very disturbing movie. Like pretty much everything about it's just meant to unnerve you. Mm-hmm. But Oddity was a welcome surprise. I missed it in the theater because it only played for like a week and I missed it.
Yeah. There was like only a couple showings and they were all at like 8, 9 p.m. And that's like when I'm starting to get ready to go to bed for work the next day. And so I was like, are you kidding me? So I had to like so I had to like wait for one of the days I was off work, or like no, I had to wait for to watch it on a day before I had a day off. And so I'm like tired from work, then I have to go home, wait for like 4 or 5 hours, then go back and see it, and then stay awake. So I was like really tired. That one freaked me out and got me to stay up. So
Yeah, and I watched it on Shudder, and I was really looking forward to it as well because I knew that it was coming. And I was like, oh, I finally get to watch Oddity, So I was waiting for it to drop. I even remember it dropped on the 27th. I was like, all right, let's go. And I really enjoyed. The ending was a little lackluster to me, if I'm being honest. I kind of wanted a little bit more from the ending, but I still overall thought it was very well written, and like you said, definitely had some freaky moments, some good tension, some good, kind of jump scares.
another
And I
one
just like the story. I just thought the story.
another one that freaked me out when I first saw it. I haven't seen it since theaters, was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Some of those jump scares got me, and some of those creatures got me. Even though I'm pretty sure it's PG-13.
It is PG-13, but that's a good movie.
It's a pretty hard PG-13.
Yeah, and that's a really fun Halloween watch as well.
Mm-hmm. So those are the ones that are coming to mind that I can see. Yeah, I'm pretty far back now, but yeah, those are ones that got me. But yeah. Anyways, anything that you have coming to your channel soon, sir, that you'd like to tell anyone about, or
no, not right now. I everything on my channel is just kind of random, whatever I just decide to talk about. I know over on my buddy's channel, Video Man and Gizmo, we'll be doing some verses. I know we're going to have one coming up around, either we're going to do it in November or December. I'm thinking we should do it in December, but we're going to do Silent Night, Deadly Night versus Christmas Evil, and we're going to discuss both of those films, break them down.
I have not seen Christmas Evil, but I've heard of it before.
Yeah. So that's going to be a really fun one. Definitely check out Christmas Evil. I think you'll really enjoy that one. But yeah, that will be fun. And then I think we're going to do another versus, but we're just not sure what yet. We were thinking maybe Suspiria versus Suspiria remake. We were thinking
I haven't seen any Suspiria.
We were thinking Dawn of the Dead original versus remake would be another fun one.
That's probably my favorite zombie movie, the Zack Snyder one. But yet again, I love Zack Snyder, so
yeah, because you have like the remake is fun, it's fast paced, it's got a lot of action, the zombies look cool, and I like all of the characters. And then you have the original, which
and you have the cool Zack Snyder action and stuff that he likes to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely, you can tell
you have his style. He has a very distinct style to all of his movies.
Yeah.
So, and I personally dig his style. So.
Oh, me too. And then you have the classic George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead, and I really like those characters. And you have the whole mall. The mall is huge, and then obviously you got Tom Savini's in there as well, and you got the biker gang, and it just feels like more of like an epic type story, right? Because the world feels bigger. Because they have the helicopter that they're traveling around in and all that kind of stuff. And they really are two totally different takes on Dawn. I mean, obviously you have the original, which is the original, but I think Zack Snyder really made it his own. He didn't just copy and paste Romero's. He did his own thing with it. So
that's what remakes should do. Shouldn't just do what Psycho and The Omen did, where it's just the exact same movie.
Yes, I completely agree. I hate the Omen remake for that. It's so boring, and it literally is just shot for shot of the original, but done in a way worse way, in my opinion. I mean, there's like no atmosphere or tension to that movie at all.
Also, the Strangers Chapter 1 this year did the same thing, but I was like, for some reason that one worked for me, so it was different enough. I don't know.
No, I actually did enjoy The Strangers. Chapter 1.
Everyone was shitting on that movie, and so I was
They
like,
did.
this isn't gonna be good. And then I watched it. I'm like, that's not great, but it's okay.
That's how I felt. It wasn't nearly as bad as everyone was making it out to be, but I didn't find it to be the best thing ever either. You know, I still
No.
prefer the first Strangers and Strangers Pray at Night to it. But I like Rennie Harlan a lot, the director of The Strangers Chapter 1. So I'm looking forward to see what he does with the next 2 installments. Because I like that director. So
what's up,
hey,
guys?
Alan,
Looking
what's
forward
going
to
on?
see. Hey, what's going on? Looking forward to see Terrifier 3. Get ready. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, man. You're gonna have a fun time with that one, Alan. If you enjoyed the first 2 Terrifier films, that especially the second one, if you enjoyed the second Terrifier, you're really gonna like the third Terrifier. Yeah.
As far as anything else that I have going, I don't know. I just kind of do whatever I want now.
Yeah.
I like doing lives. I found more than editing videos because I don't like editing and it takes forever. But yet again, the reason I didn't like editing is because my old computer was trash, and it took like 2 hours to cut a video together. I was like, oh my god, this takes half my day. So I plan on looking for a better computer, hopefully around Black Friday, so maybe I can start up doing reviews again. But I want to start streaming more. I want to do. Yeah, it's so much fun. I don't know. I feel like I feel more organic doing streams because it's not like chopped together and edited and stuff, you know, so I can just kind of like go off and do whatever, you know.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. I've been working on it with Letterboxd. I only have like 4 movies left. I'm trying to watch all the movies that have made $1 billion at the box office. I'm missing like 4 films. So I might I've seen people do like tier lists and stuff of that. I might do that one. $1 billion movie tier list. I don't know. I might maybe when Nosferatu comes out, I'll do like favorite vampire movies or something like that.
That'd be fun. That'd be a good one, yeah.
Plus, I don't know.
We're almost to the end of the year, so you'll be able to get your like end of the year list going, like your top 10.
Well, then I got to do my stupid thing where I do my live stream where I rank everything I saw, and I'm sitting at 171 new releases right now, and I'm like last year I did 152, and that stream was like 4.5 hours long. And so I'm like, geez, it's gonna be 6 hours this year.
Yeah, that film festival didn't help anything.
No, absolutely did not. But yeah. So I don't know. I like doing stuff like this, like Terrifier, when it's like with a release, if that makes sense, not just like out of the blue. Hey, let's talk about Terrifier in the middle of March, you know?
No, it works because it's more topical. You know, it makes sense. Like if another Halloween film comes out, or Jason, or Nightmare on Elm Street, then we can do a stream talking about one of those because it makes sense.
We'll probably never get another Jason or Freddy film because
I know we might be waiting a long time.
We already have been waiting a long time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's very true. We might just have to do a Freddy or Jason like ranking or something fun involving them without having to wait for another movie.
I was literally in elementary school when the last Friday the 13th movie came out, and now I have a college degree. What are they doing? I got a college degree faster than they can make a new Friday the 13th film. What are they doing?
That's true. I know. It's weird thinking about it like that, too, because it was like...
Jason, yeah. Hi, sir.
Oh, hey, how's it going, Jason? What's up, man? Yeah, thanks for stopping by, dude.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who stopped by on the stream. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Love it when you guys make comments. Makes it more fun, gives us some stuff to respond to and stuff. So
yeah, carry the conversation a bit, you know.
Yes, sir. So all right, well, that'll do.
Oh, thanks, and I want to thank you for having me on too, Fox. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Yes, it's always a blast to bring you or Ryan on or something.
Yeah, or all 3 of us.
Yeah, some of my YouTube streaming friends, as I like to refer to you guys as. But
yeah,
I love talking to you guys. So If you want to check out Anthony, he's over there. I put the link to your channel in the description of the stream, so go check that out and see all the cool stuff he does over there. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for watching, and see you guys on the next stream.
Later.